Hello! It is I, Ryan, from Knights Around the Table, and...
Cheryl!
From...
Knights Around the Table!
Is it? Oh, duck. Yes. It's on your head. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, all 6 of you. Good to see you. Who's here? Verrous is here. Omelet is going to be moderating for us for this very special stream. This is the one where we get to talk about our feelings. I want to make sure that everybody can hear us. I was going to say feel us. Can you feel us? Can you feel us? Can you hear us? Because I don't know about you. I feel a little bit rusty. It's been a while.
It's been so long.
I had to shake the cobwebs off of all the gear. First time chat reviewer. Hello, kids love dragons. Party time. You damn right. Yeah. Welcome to the Knights Around the Table stream. Greetings and salutations, says Omar. Welcome. What are we talking about? Very subscribed with Prime. Thank you so much. If you have an Amazon Prime account, I'm not hearing the noises in my earballs.
Oh no.
That's potentially a problem. I don't know. So if I miss something, please let me know in chat. If people subscribe or if the things happen, I'm not going to get notified. Thanks for the subscription. If you have an Amazon Prime account, that means that you get one free subscription to your favorite game channel on Twitch. This might be the one. If you've never seen a stream that we've done before, this might not be the one, but let us entertain you. Let us impress you, and then you can decide. But you can just go to Twitch. No, I don't know. It's Amazon Prime Gaming. Google it. It's good. It's good. I have a whole thing on the website. Oh, Everdell. Hello, Everdell. Yes. And that's a very good reminder. Everdell, a.k.a. I think I'm allowed to say your name. Molly is a new, not only new member of the Knights Around the Table community, but also a new patron, and we thank her very much for her patronage. Also, Sebastian, who I think popped into the Discord server like the teensiest few seconds and then like bounced back out. So we weren't able to retain Sebastian, but thank you so much for being a new subscriber on Patreon. I've got a bunch of like things to throw up here. Here's one. That is the address for the Discord community. And I know everybody's just like, oh, you got to join the Discord just because they want people on their Discord.
But it's great.
When people say like, "Oh, we got the best community," they're just blowing smoke. When I say it, I ain't blowing no smoke. I'm telling you the truth. We have the very best people. Oh, Arma, thank you so much for subscribing. I see that. I don't know why I'm not hearing it. I might just go turn the volume up just so it'll sound a little bit echoey. Oh my gosh,
wow.
Ekin, thank you so much, Ekin. You know what? I am gonna turn it up just because I don't want to miss any of these. I don't want to miss any. And you might see my jammies. Don't be shocked. Don't be shocked to learn that I don't wear pants on stream or practically ever in my entire life.
Ryan is very jealous of our friend Dave's shirt, which says pants. No pants are the best pants.
Yeah, that's a good shirt. That's Dave's shirt. What are y'all saying? There's so many things. I gotta cruise through chat and make sure that I'm not missing anybody. Kids love dragons. We said hello to. We said hello to Everdell. We said hello to Omelet. Anybody else sound out? We said hello to Auberon 2K. Good Discord. What's that? Says Auberon 2K, the king of our Discord. He's not the king of the patron. I'm gonna be very clear. Omelet and DMExplains are the two monarchs of our Patreon channel. Omelet, newly a monarch. Thank you so much for that support.
Thank you.
I want to talk about some support that Auberon lent us as well in a moment. We're going to get to that. What we're talking about today is our very, very first ever trip to GenCON just a few short weeks ago. Yeah. It feels like this is way overdue. It feels
like
a
month ago now.
Yeah, it was a month ago. Do you think anybody cares anymore? Do you think they still want to talk about GenCon? Quickly.
The month went by like such a blur. I can't even believe it was a month.
Well, it's because, when you go on vacation and it's like, oh man, I got to do all this work so I can go on vacation. And then you go on vacation. And then when you get back, you're like, oh, I got to do all this work because I've been on vacation. Yes. And somehow the weeks bookending your vacation are like, 4 extra weeks of work. It's crazy. So that's what August has been. It's just been like crazy amounts of work. The work leading up to GenCon, though. So this is usually a pleasure trip for people, but since we have a channel and we have publishers to meet, this was I felt like we were trying to straddle work and play. I think it ended up pretty heavily towards the work end.
What straddle?
Yeah,
There's
I don't know.
Straddle.
I tried to strike a balance. Anyway, before we went to...
Hey, we hear it.
We can hear it. It might be echoing, but thank you so much for the subscription, Omar. Why is it making such a big... That's a whole hype train. Oh my gosh, so much things happening. Okay. Since it was a bit of his business trip, you might notice that we were wearing brand new looking shirts with our names on. Cheryl, give him a spin if you can. So they got the rules gremlin on the sleeve, right here. And then what you got on the back there, Cheryl? Okay. So can you do it?
Yeah.
It's not an easy. Yeah, right. So the big old Knights Around the Table crest. Yeah. So we wanted to do T-shirts, and I had like months and months and months to prepare all this, and I knew what was going to happen. With the time would just get eaten up, and like 2 weeks before the show, I'd be like, oh my gosh, we need merch and things. So it's like I wanted good T-shirts, and then it's like Mom said we have T-shirts at home, and these are the T-shirts at home. This is the only one that I can find that didn't have. This is like a home print iron-on transfer label that apparently doesn't. We had men's and women's shirts, and they don't stick that well, so they're all peeling off. And then the very first day that we were there at GenCON, it started raining, and the color started bleeding down the shirts. Doesn't matter. The whole point was that we had a bunch of people from the Discord server, a bunch of patrons and stuff, and even people not from the Discord server, like Board Tina, aka Beard Tina, who came down, and we got to meet everybody, and we gave them all T-shirts because that was a marketing expense, because they were going to be our meat billboards for the show and walk around with their logo. So we will gladly foot the bill. Now the T-shirts, I believe, disintegrated the very week after GenCON happened.
They weren't
show you something
manufactured to be forever shirts.
They were not forever shirts at all. They were fast fashion, I guess we could call it.
Oh, it's terrible.
The shirts look great, says there now. Yes, they look great on camera, don't they?
Yeah.
In person.
Well, these will be our camera shirts now.
They will. And I was going to say, in person, the cracks begin to show. And I mean the literal cracks begin to show.
Eventually we'll get
Auberon says, I need to check with Nikki where our shirts went. Not sure what state they ended up in. A lump, I think. Like a dissolved temp shirts for temp billboard. That's all it is. And you know what? The people wearing the shirts are also temporary. So that's just like a statement on life and death and recreation.
Oh, that's dark.
I don't know.
No, please don't.
That's always where I go. I've had too much caffeine.
Alma thinks I need a taller chair.
Yeah, you're really short. Our camera is up quite high.
In general. And
this is true to life though. Cheryl's like half a head shorter than me.
Like your chair is pretty much
I can go down.
Too far down. Yes.
The other thing is that sometimes I do put my chair down just depending on the camera angle, and then when I'm too low and my stomach is up like higher than my nose. It starts gurgling, and I try to do voiceover, and my stomach, like the whole time, is like blah 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 blah. And I can point out a couple of videos, some time codes. If you listen very closely, you can hear my stomach going like "need Cheetos" or whatever it does. I can't. I don't speak stomach. Anyway, here we are.
Yeah,
that's maybe a little bit better.
I think it's the same. It's fine.
Go back to where it was. I'm a little bit lower than I was.
Yeah.
So I want to get business cards made, so I actually did. These are actually quasi-professional, except for the design, which I did my own darn self. So you know what a box of business cards look like. But I did two of them. I did the one where you can contact me, and this is like the professional one. And then I did one. We went to Breakout Con, which is a conference in Toronto. And started walking around and saying hi to people. Oh, Ryan T, by the way. Ryan T is another new patron, and we're really happy to have Ryan T aboard. We met Ryan T at Breakout Con. So if you've been seeing any of the interview footage that we've been shooting at cons, the ones that you've seen so far were all taken at Breakout Con in Toronto. And the ones that you will see coming up are the ones that we shot at GenCon. And then we're going to shoot even more at a local con that hopefully you'll enjoy. So I hope that's going all right. That skew is a bit triggering. The skew... What skew are we? Oh, the skew on the cards? You're darn right. That was deliberate, because when I did it like squaresies, it was very much
so boring.
It was like that scene out of American Psycho, where they're comparing all like the eggshell white business cards. It was really dull. Yeah, way too corporate for what we're doing. So I tilted it a little bit. It looked way better. I should show you the one where it's just right angles. It's very bad. But anyway, when I was going around Breakout Con without these business cards, I was just introducing myself to people, and they're like, oh, Knights Around a Table. And then they say the words that you never want to hear after you've spent 5 years trying to build like a channel. They'd be like, yeah, I haven't heard of you. And you're like, oh, crushing. And then they'd say like, what platforms are you on? And I'm like, oh, oh my gosh, like, do you not think that if I was trying to do this, I wouldn't be on like every single platform I could possibly be on? So the other business card is every single platform that I just listed. I was like, no, we're on MySpace, we're on, oh my gosh. Level 1 hype train emote, I don't even know what that does. Twitch, go home, you're drunk. So yeah, I listed just like everywhere you could find us, because you can find us in a big pile of places. Of course, YouTube and Twitch are the most prominent, but I was just, instead of getting mad, I just thought I'll just give you the card, and it's like, look, we're everywhere, and if you haven't heard of it, it's your fault.
Well, it was helpful to have it too for people, when we interviewed them, and they might not know us. So here's how you'll find yourself.
Yeah, and they were. I get ornery, but they were genuinely asking the question, and
nice.
Yeah, they were being nice. But it's hard to not really take that to heart.
Well, not everybody's gonna know you.
No, of course not. Yes. Just wait. Another cool thing that we did that was a little bit more pro is I printed out these trifolds. So these, I'll show you the back in a second because it's kind of fun. But these were for us to go around and talk to publishers that sort of showed them what is cool about Knights Around the Table. I'm covering this up just because this is the rate card. If you want our rates, I will gladly provide them, but I don't know if I want to just advertise them on a stream. But I was able to walk people through sort of the anatomy of a Knights Around the Table video up top, our how to play videos, people we've worked with, and then I was the one like kind of like attention grabbing thing that I was able to tell people is that we don't have any hands in our videos, and they were like, tell me more. I'm going to pretend to be interested for the next 2 minutes, which was very kind of people. So then, I explained that we just do a lot of like highlights with the graphics, and we do stop motion animation, and I wear hats and da-da-da. So I walked them all through this, and I talk about you guys all know this if you've seen Knights Around the Table stuff. So we do musical chapter cards to split up the video, and we put setup at the end, and I had to sort of defend that stance, and I will with my life till the bitter end because I firmly believe in it. Bizarrely, I just put out a video for how to play Sea of Legends, which is on Kickstarter now, and I put setup at the beginning. I will do that when setup is like a 15-minute ordeal where you're making choices that are kind of gameplay choices in setup. That's when I'll put setup at the beginning because that makes sense, because that's a how to play thing. But when it's just you take the yellow cubes and you put them on the yellow side of the board, nobody cares. Nobody wants to see it, especially off the top of a video, man. Give me a break. So I talk more about in this thing, like, you gotta hook them. You gotta hook them, and then you get a pretty flyover, and then, thank you so much, Javier Barro, for subscribing on YouTube. You won't see this now because we're not on YouTube at the moment, but in reruns we will be. Anyway, I'd talk people through this entire thing, and then at the very end, I'd be like, if you're just, please go, if you haven't seen, like, the sizzle reel is now the intro video for the channel. I'm pretty proud with how it turned out. And then I would say, like, if you're just nodding your head and smiling and humoring me and you can't wait to check this out, here's how to do it. So I'd say, like, step 1, take the pamphlet, step 2, crumple it into a ball, and step 3, if you get it in, it's worth 3 VPs. And that ended it very nicely. It was a great way to end a pitch, and people kind of like would give me a chuckle, and it was all nice. It was all nice. What else did we do? We did you can't just give people t-shirts, right? So we did some of these. We did like some stickers. Again, this is the most homebrew stuff, and we're kind of homebrew people, but we got some.
They don't look too bad.
They're pretty
Come
good.
on.
They're pretty good. We got some Rules Gremlin stickers. There was one where he was in a top hat from I don't know, some video I did. Tricarian. No, it wasn't Tricarian. It was something else. Maybe Tricarian. But then we did these, and you're going to see this come back in a bit. As you know, we are sponsored every stream by water. Good gracious, that's loud. If you tried this stuff, it's excellent. And so we did these brought to you by water stickers, which are great, sarcastic, stupid thing to put on a water bottle, we discovered. So those were pretty fun. We did a couple of other ones. Some of them didn't work out. Like I did a bunch of no pants stickers, and they didn't cut properly. I was very sad about that.
I think the only one that did.
Choo choo, hype train. All right.
DMExplains got.
Is wondering says we are happy that we know. Thank you. Oh, there's the no pants emblem. You should do like a big flag. The Knights Around the Table, no pants. Like, it wouldn't be a NAaT stream without aggressively loud interludes. I agree. You know what? I can do something about that. Hold on. I'm gonna tweak that down a little bit for you. So hopefully the next thing won't be as jarring.
I don't know.
I can't promise that.
I don't know.
So here's the structure of what I wanted to. So we go down to GenCON. We travel down by automobile, and what was interesting, I mentioned Auberon. Auberon and his wife Pheanyk, aka Nikki, they are in Victoria, BC. And for Yankees who don't know geography, which I think is most of you, that is like the distance between New York and Seattle. Like they're the opposite end, the west end of the country, the other ocean, right? So they flew in a plane. I was going to say they flew a plane. I don't think they flew it. But they flew in a plane to Toronto, which is just to the west of us, and then we drove for about an hour, and we grabbed them at their little hotel, and then we drove down. We thought it was going to be an 8.5 hour drive. It was not, with stops and getting lost and accidentally turning off toll roads. Man. It was a 13-hour.
Okay, yeah, the way down was rough. Yeah.
The way back was smoother, but it was also somehow 13 hours.
No, it was less. It was less, but it was also...
Slightly less.
I don't know. I feel like there's this weird thing where we just lose time somewhere.
Even though it's in the same time zone. I don't understand it. But anyway, we went down with those two, and I think it was a pretty successful trip. It was good. Nobody got super mad at anybody. Nobody chucked anybody out the window. It was the only drawback is that I shouldn't say the only drawback, but one of the stories I'd love to tell is that we have this boot at the top of our car. You know how you see people have roof racks, and they have those what are they called, those what's the company that makes the boot that go the aerodynamic one, the hard shell one? Oh. You guys might know what I'm talking about. It looks like it's spelled one way, but it's pronounced another.
Tool, but I can't remember. Thule?
Thule.
Yeah, Thule, that's Thule. How you say it.
So they make those things, right? Yes. And then you put your luggage and stuff in there so you have extra room in the car. Well, we have one that's made by National Geographic that's discontinued. You can't even buy it anymore. And all it is basically like a zippered... Oh, thank you for the cheering, Anonymous Cheer. It's just a big zippered square...
It's made of like this really thick vinyl.
Yeah, but it's not aerodynamic in the slightest. No. It's just a big lump that you stick on top of your car. And the way you keep it on your car, we don't have a roof rack, is there are these 4 straps that come down, and you close the straps inside the doors, right? Now, that's a problem because it breaks the seal around the door. So if it happens to rain on your trip, which it did on our trip,
on our way home.
The rain doesn't stay outside the car. The rain likes to come in the car. I should have, I should have prepped this better and showed the pictures.
Well, I think I have
Can we do it?
And I can maybe show it like
Yeah. Do it on the overhead camera.
Let me see if I can find the picture.
We took some pictures. So Cheryl, I don't know if you know this, Cheryl is Cheryl's the brains and the brawn in that operation. She's very good at jury rigging things, and she put something together to keep the rain off of us in the car. You're surprised at what stayed attached? What, the thing on the roof? Yeah, for some reason, like if you make it heavy enough, when we were going down,
you cinch it.
You do. You cinch it. You tighten it. And when we were going down, the one problem is we didn't have enough stuff in it. So if you don't put enough things in it, it'll just blow off the car. But as soon as we weighted it down a little bit better, it worked. All right, we got the picture.
It's a month
Can't find
ago.
it.
And this is like a whole other phone.
So we've been drinking Timmy Hose like the Canucks we are, and a bunch of hosers with big Tim Hortons cups. So Cheryl grabbed hairbands. What did you grab? Like hair ties?
No, mask. Elastic straps.
Elastic straps from our COVID masks.
You gotta use what you got.
And made little rain barrels to hang on the hooks of these straps in the corners of the car.
Tinkerbell.
to catch the. They're not going to get that reference if they've only seen Disney's Peter Pan.
It's true.
There are new Tinkerbell movies where Tinkerbell is like a tinkerer and puts things together.
I can't find them. That's sad. That's fine. Whatever.
I would say MacGyver is the more relatable.
Yeah,
reference.
true. Yep.
Or MacGruber for you youngins. Cool. So I wanted to start out, I do have a structure to this. I wanted to start out by showing you, we did grab some games that we didn't ask for. I wanted to show you the games that we did purchase, the stuff that we did buy, the stuff that I chased down and wanted desperately, and the gifts that the wonderful patrons we met down there bestowed upon us, because we feel very humbled by those. I wanted to share those with you. Possibly the coolest thing I've got, though. Possibly the coolest. I think probably the coolest. So Verrous is in chat. Check this action out. I promised on Twitter that you would see an unauthorized, check the doors, no narcs listening, an unauthorized Ark Nova expansion. Oh. Here we go.
Right, yes.
Look at this thing. Look at this. This is Ark Nova Fantastic Creatures. This is actually 2 expansions, I believe. This is 2 expansions, Fantastic Creatures and an Insects expansion. Look at this. So Verrous and family are Verrous and Sandria, who you can both meet on the Discord server.
They're awesome.
They're awesome. So they actually went and like printed these like print and play expansion cards for Ark Nova. Half of them are insects and half of them are dragons. And the reason why is because, hold on, how do I explain this? Okay, so I was gonna do a Bits Please episode featuring Ark Nova because somebody on Facebook found these little tiny adorable rubber animals that you could put in Ark Nova, and I ran out and grabbed some, and Omelette ran out and grabbed some, and Verrous ran out and grabbed some, and so it's like nowhere near the number of animals that are in Ark Nova. Like you get like 20 out of 180 animals covered with these little rubber animals.
Pitifully small.
But it's not, and they're super crazy expensive because the only place you can buy them is at Michael's,
so cute.
which of course is extortionary price. Hey, there's a bag down here I can show you. Hold on. I can get it with my foot. You know what? If I extend, go gadget toes. I can get it. Hopefully, I don't knock out any cords and the stream stops. Oh, my hips are aching. Oh, okay. I'm old. All right, there we go. Okay, so check these out.
Yeah, they're so great.
Now, these are the ones that you can't put in the game. This is what I'm saying. There's extras. Like, they weren't made for Ark Nova or anything. So if you buy all these rubber animals, you end up with all these ones that aren't in Ark Nova. So you get, like, a manta ray and an octopus. Maybe in the official expansion, which is apparently marine life themed, you will have an octopus card. But there's a moose, there's an orangutan, there's a kiwi. So they're awesome, and they feel really good. There's a camel. Everyone comments on the most gigantic bumblebee on the planet, which is like bigger than the camel. So these are great, but you got extras. So what Verrous did was designed an expansion around the excess animals that come in these animal packs. So let me go back to this camera.
So smart.
So this is the bug one that involves like the gigantic bee that you just saw, and then some bugs that aren't in those packs. So the Hercules beetle, monarch butterfly, dung beetle. Very, very cool. And how did Verrous find the same artist for these cards? Ark Nova just uses public domain art, so it's easy to match the look. But then you're wondering, like, what is the Fantastical Creatures one? Well, one of the rubber animal packs that I didn't buy because it was completely didn't fit Ark Nova is like, it's all like dragons and Pegasuses and stuff, right? So I didn't pick it up, but Verrous did.
So excited! I want to play with this so badly.
I know, it's so cool, right?
Yes.
So this is a pack that you can use to incorporate the the rubber mystical creatures into your Ark Nova game. And what else we got? So here they are actually in the bag. I don't know why I'm yapping when I could just show you. Show, don't tell, Ryan. Here they are.
Yeah, Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan. So these are the dragons. So you get a Pegasus, and you get a green dragon, and you get a purple dragon, and you get another purple dragon, more like Chinese style, I guess. And then you get like this wyvern kind of Welsh style thing. There's one Pegasus and one unicorn. Very cool. And that's, you know what? That is mythologically accurate because Pegasus did not have a unicorn horn. And the unicorn does not have wings, so I appreciate that they got those details correct. Here's another cool, I don't know, maybe British-style dragon. And then this is Dragons of the World. They're very cool. This looks like, I'm going to say Hungarian. I don't know why that guy looks Hungarian, but he looks very Northern or Eastern European and dark and dire and scary looking. They've got the scariest mythological creatures, I think. They got the chicken house lady and the... Ooh, spooky stuff. I don't know why. Verrous, can you tell me why these are in here? Because you need them. I can't remember. You explained it to me, but we haven't busted this up to play yet. So there are extra enclosures, level 2 enclosures to hide things. I think the bugs use those. Are they bug houses? You let me know. Let me know in chat.
Looks like they're bug houses.
Omar says, those are super cool, says Omar. Yes. It was like the plague, but with small animals. Damn, I'm getting metal coins today for my Ark Nova, and now seeing those, I feel incomplete again. Omar, are the metal coins, do they look... I thought about this when they do metal coins for that game. Are they like the rounded square that are black or gray that just have a number in them? Or are they just like, I just bought metal coins because I want them? Are they themed? Because that was wasn't that a weird stylistic decision in Ark Nova? That the coins, the money was like a black rounded square. Like, who designed that?
Yeah.
Like, name all the countries with black money that you can think of. It's just that was weird. Clap, 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 says Omar.
Label has instructions.
There's a special bug enclosure. Oh, okay. Yes, that's what I thought.
Cool.
Right. Yes.
Thank you.
The rules are here. I have not read them yet. We haven't busted those. I was waiting for this moment, for this very stream, to expose this to the world and say, ha ha ha, my copy of Ark Nova remains way better than anybody else's. And just wait, because I have, like I said,
it matters.
I'm working. It really does. I'm working on a Bits Please episode, and it's just gonna it's gonna hit it out of the park. That's why, Omar, I want to know about these coins, because if I'm missing out. All right, cool. Very exciting. Thank you very much, Verrous. More presents. We have a patron and friend in Poppy who works for Stonemaier Games. Stonemaier Games has a game called Rolling Realms, and Rolling Realms is a roll and write that James Stegmaier developed over the pandemic. And it's a roll and write that features other board games. So he started out with just Libertalia and other like Stonemaier games, but apparently he's licensed or reached agreements to have games that aren't just by Stonemaier involved in Rolling Realms. So Poppy brought us these extra packs for Rolling Realms. So you get a Terra Mystica promo pack, a Libertalia one, and the Rolling Realms pack. So this is the game Rolling Realms in the game Rolling Realms. And you thought Zuckerberg was the only one who could do meta. So that's really cool. Thank you very, very much, Poppy, for that.
Awesome.
Some promos. As long as we're talking about Ark Nova, we might as well talk about this thing. Like, I put together my top 10 things I'm most excited about at GenCon, and really, to be honest, I was kind of going on the list of new stuff on Board Game Geek, thinking I guess that's okay. Stuff sounded interesting, but there wasn't anything I was ravenously excited about until 2 days before the show. Capstone's like, oh, by the way, extra Ark Nova maps. And drop the mic, and we were like, oh my god, and apparently everybody else was like, oh my god, because there's a lineup out the door for this. Now this, oh my gosh, you want to talk extortionate board game pricing. This was absurd.
But the people will pay.
The people will pay, and
they will be lined up outside the door.
I'm the people. So I complain, but this thing, look at this. This is a map pack. This includes exactly 2 maps, and already, if you've complained about the quality or lack thereof of the components in Ark Nova, this is the same quality. These are the razor thin garbage player mats. Yeah, look at this. It's just there's nothing to it. Oh, I shouldn't do that. And what did it cost? $10 American for these 2 scraps of paper.
It was 15 Canadian dollars.
Oh, something like that. I feel so bad. Could have filled up the car with the money we paid for this. So instead we just
for the maps was crazy.
Yeah, right. Verrous witnessed it. And then not only that, but we had patrons and friends at home who desperately wanted these as well.
Yeah.
So we were sticking it up the old prison wallet, and we were molding it out of there and muling it. Sorry, not molding it. Yeah, we were map mules for a bunch of people. So collectively, that was one of the funnest things I found about GenCon, was that we knew a bunch of people. We knew 10, 15 people going down there. So it's we can't all get to all the same promos at the same time and take advantage of all the same deals. So we divided and conquered. So it's okay, you go get 2 Ark Nova maps. I'm going to go get these promos, which I'll show you in a second. And so it wasn't just me sending my minions out to collect things for me. No, we tag teamed it. We were a group. It was
good.
we ran it like a Vegas heist or something. So cool. We got that. Here, let me put that aside. Haven't played with that yet. Obviously, we didn't need it that badly. Yeah. And then the biggest kick in the pants was I got home, and Board Game Bliss, which is the major retailer here in Toronto, one of the 2, they're like, by the way, pre-order your Ark Nova extra maps for $10 Canadian. We're I am Fortune's fool. All right, next.
Okay.
Right. Not too exciting. I don't know. This is just they had a promo for Hallertau cards. Notice they are unopened and unplayed, but I was excited to have them. They had that was free. I got that for free. Also, I was very excited. Went to the CGE booth and got, what are these? This is Yummy and Skelly, 2 extra pets for Dungeon Pets. I am still bereft of Bob the Blob. I'd still love to collect Bob the Blob at one point, which is, I think, the only extra pet I'm missing. Now, what they did was, if you buy Dungeon Pets they had extras of these clasps, 3 extra pairs of clasps in the bag, and then they put out these 2 promo pets and then a 3rd promo pet, right? So you just like, I need to get the promo pets to fit the extra clasps, and then the hole in my heart will finally feel full. No, well, who am I lying to? All right, and then also at CG, well, I'll let Cheryl do stuff in a second. This is my portion. So again, the divide and conquer thing. We got the coveted 3 Lost Ruins of Arnak promos, right? So these are the Alicorn and the Soothsayer's Rune, and then they were being real dodgy. So I went and I got these again. They were free, so I don't know how I can complain about anything. But I got these. I got these at their booth. They actually had private rooms upstairs. It was very, very nice to visit them. I got these from their little table, and then I said, I know there's a third. They're like, no, yeah, gee, we just don't know where it is right now. I'm like, oh, you guys. And then Auberon goes to the booth. He's like, oh, I'm excited to pick up some promo cards for Arnak. And they just give him the saxophone, and they don't give him these 2, right? So I got extra set of these 2, and then he got an extra saxophone. And then when we got back to the Airbnb together, we're like, yes, and we swapped and we traded, and now both of us are complete. We have all 3 Arnak promo cards. I've already sleeved them, as you can see. I already sleeved them, and I put them in the box, and I dug them back out just for the stream. Very exciting. Cool. Mm-hmm. We missed the last one. You're so lucky I grabbed those extras on day 1. I know. Well, you're lucky too that we grabbed it. Anyway, whatever. It was a team effort. That's what I'm trying to say. I did spend some money on promo cards, and I feel like a moron for doing it because I mentioned on Twitter I got like the worst promo cards on the planet. I don't know what possessed me. I got this one from Dice Tower for what is it? Underwater Cities, a game that I don't play anymore. I'd like to, but I don't know.
I like the game.
I don't know what it is or what it does or why I got these. But I felt worse about it. I don't know what I paid. $5, maybe $10. I mean, I complained about the Ark Nova thing, but like, gee whiz. And then I got, this is the worst thing. This is the worst expenditure of money ever. The Court of Approval. I believe I paid $5 or $10. I paid up to $10 to get this bonus Everdell promo card. Notice anything different? Well, it says Court of Approval instead of Courthouse, which I guess is a Dice Tower term. I don't know. I'm not up on my Dice Tower lore. But notice any other difference? No, you don't, because it's the same card as is already in the game. All they did was change the word Courthouse to Court of Approval, and I paid money for that, and I don't know why I did. I just saw Everdell. I was like, blah, I've got foam coming up my mouth. I've gone crazy. So... Well,
I mean, it was on day 3, so we were probably a little delirious at that point.
Fervor, that's what it was. Fervor. Yeah. 1 or 2 promo card packs were only $5. I feel marginally better. Okay. I got this from the Stonemaier booth. I felt gross about it, though, because somebody scribbled on it. And I was like, I took it back. I was like, excuse me, can I get one of these without scribbles? And then they're like, well, that's Jamie Stegmaier's autograph. And I was like, yeah? No, just kidding. So it's nice. I got an autograph card by Jamie Stegmaier for Scythe. Quite lovely. And then also at that booth, because you might know that I do enjoy Scythe, I was very happy to get the consolidated rulebook for Scythe. So I did pay money for this because I wanted it very badly. And just some of this stuff shipping to Canada is absurd. It costs almost as much as, like, for example, an Ark Nova map to ship stuff to Canada. So this is we've been playing through the Rise of Fenris campaign. And I remember last time we were playing, there was a little like bonus tile for the end of the game scoring, and we're like, "What does this mean?" We're like, "I don't know." So we're like flipping through the rule book, couldn't find it. So we're like, oh, "Okay, we'll flip through the first expansion rule book, couldn't find it. Okay, flip through the second expansion rule book, couldn't find it." So it'll be really nice to just have everything consolidated in here. Now, Dawn did offer. They misprinted this originally in the. They had a few flubs in the solo mode section, and Don72, who you will also meet on Discord if you join us there, offered to ship out the misprint. And I said no, because I couldn't live with myself. Because the other thing I wanted to do was to get all the other side promos that I was missing. So I walked up to them and I'm like, look, I have all these ones. Which ones am I missing? And they're looking at my list and they're like, nothing, dude. You got everything. And I was like, I've got everything. With this is the final piece. I've got everything made for Scythe, except for the metal mechs, but those are for rich kids, and I am not a rich kid. We don't need metal mechs, but I am very happy.
Overboard.
I'm very happy. I'm content complete on Scythe at long last after many years. There are a few you need to grab. One more. Which ones are missing? Do you have all the coins? Like, that's the big one, I think, is the coins. But there are a bunch of extra encounter cards, and we've played with some of them, and we're kind of like, this must be... You can kind of tell when they're an expansion one, because it's like, get $85,000 and punch the guy next to you in the face. You're like, that has to be... They're scraping the barrel for ideas with that card, right? Some of them seem a little bit overpowered, is all I'm trying to say. Don
is offering up the misprint and to hit him up in Discord.
Oh, very nice,
so
Don.
Nice.
Look, see, wonderful people. So Don still has his misprinted manual. I don't think it matters if you're not planning on playing Scythe solo. It's so true. If you want to hit Don up for that... So
it really wouldn't have mattered, but you are such a completionist.
I know. I really appreciated the offer, Don, but... You mean Dice Tower promos? Scythe thinks I'm... Scythe, you think you're complete on Scythe. There were so many Dice Tower promos, though. There were promos for games I had never even heard of or seen before, and they date back because, Vassal's been doing this for about 100 years. He's like a board game vampire by now. He sleeps in a coffin upside down. I think that's true. Go fact check me if you don't believe me. But he's been doing it for a long time, and there's just and he's been doing a million promo cards. So there's lots. There were the premium ones, like the new ones, and then it's like, oh, if you're still a loser playing Underwater Cities, which came out 2 years ago, you can buy these promos for a discounted rate.
It's an elder game.
It's an elder game for elder millennials. The always extremely generous DMExplains ordered for himself years and years ago a copy of Dead Reckoning, which you'll recall AEG hired me to do a how to play for, and then I wound up doing a stream with the designer John DeClaire and Paul Grogan on his channel, and that was all fun, and I was very excited about that game, and then they took it away from me. They were like, please send the game on to the next reviewer. And I was like, no. So they wrenched it out of my hands. It was like a Sophie's Choice moment. I'm being a bit dramatic.
That was Dead Reckoning for you, and it was distilled for me.
Right, yeah. When that's true. When Dave tore Distilled out of your hands, you were quite upset. It was also Dave Beck, who is the designer and publisher of Distilled, which is a game about distilling spirits. You might have seen our how to play for that. Yes. Cheryl really loved that. And we got to meet Dave, super nice guy. He gave us t-shirts, which we should have been wearing on the stream, but we should have done a costume change.
We did branded.
We did these ones.
But
anyway, yeah. So Cheryl was upset to see that one going. I was upset to see Dead Reckoning going because I quite loved it. And at the time, I think it had edged out Merchants and Marauders for my favorite pirate game of all time.
It had.
But there is another. So... I'm saying it's like this now.
Well, now you have to play it again now, and then you'll know.
I will. But I'm saying, like, okay, if you want to know, Ryan, what's the best pirate game? Yeah. I'm putting Dead Reckoning is in like a dead heat with Sea of Legends, which they just paid me to do a video for it. So I don't like saying, when people pay me to do videos for things, I don't like saying this game is great, because I don't want people to say, well, obviously, because they've got money in your pocket.
Yeah.
That's not the case with these two games. I quite like both of them. The Sea of Legends I like bonkers a lot, and the reason I say that they're in a dead heat is because of the type of gamer that you might be. If you want a serious pirate game that's all about serious pirates doing serious pirate things, then Dead Reckoning is an excellent pirate game. If you are okay with a pirate game that involves potentially thematically goofy stuff like farting contests, Sea of Legends is
rummaging through the trash.
Right, being a garbage picker, all kinds of wacky stuff. Sea of Legends is exemplary, and it's on Kickstarter right now. You can go. I don't have a link for you to go follow, but maybe Omelette, if he's on his toes, can put that in the chatteroo. But they're both excellent. Anyway, the reason I mentioned them to begin with is because look at this. DMExplains just flipped me his copy of Dead Reckoning. He's just like,
nice.
He heard me going on and about how sad I was that they took it away, and he knew he had a copy coming. And as time approached,
thanks
for that link. As time approached, and he knew that it was going to fulfill, he got less and less excited about it. He's like, why did I even order this thing to begin with? And he saw how sad I was, and he's just like, here. And it still like had his address on it and everything. I'm like, wow, that is the mega generousest thing ever. So now I am the proud owner of a copy of Dead Reckoning. Now I will say...
So are we bringing it?
So tell us what we're bringing anything to.
So tomorrow we leave. For how many nights is it? I forgot.
I know, you booked
It's a lot. We are going away for our 20th wedding anniversary.
Yay! 20th wedding anniversary. Where are we going? Cuba, certainly.
No, we're just going to like a cute little Airbnb.
Where?
Marmora.
Marmora?
I don't know how to say it.
So not Cuba, but Marmora, Ontario?
Yeah.
All right.
We're sticking... We can't go too far.
We got kids.
Because we got kids.
When we told...
And if there was a major emergency, I want to be able to drive back.
When we told my mom, she's like, why are you going to Marmora? I don't know. Thank you.
It's so cute. It's just sweet little, like, cabiny Airbnb, and it has... I know another Airbnb, but this one...
Yeah.
I've learned how to spot the reviews, the fake reviews.
So
I figured this out.
I'll tell this story very briefly by way of sort of like an intro to a video that I hope to make and that you will be seeing. But we had a disastrous...
Okay.
Oh, I'm going to make a video. We had a disastrous family...
djmachv, thank you.
Thank you so much for the subscription, djmachv. djmachv, I'm about to mention you. I'm glad you're here. I knew he was going to show up late, so I was holding off on this.
Yes.
We'll get to you, djmachv. Dealing with DMExplains and his most generous gifting of Dead Reckoning, which we may, as Cheryl was asking if we may bring on our anniversary trip to Marmora, Ontario.
Yeah, I think we should.
What was I about to say, though? I don't know.
Oh, the disastrous
family
Airbnb.
vacation. We had a very, very bad time at an Airbnb.
I've been using Airbnb since 2013, and I've like pretty much every year a couple times.
I'm going to make a video of it,
So good,
and the
but then-
folks on the Discord server, many of you who are in chat, already heard
You
me
know.
blah, you know how it went. So, yeah. So it's an Airbnb. It should be okay. But the Airbnb for
GenCON was great.
Yeah.
It was perfect. It was exactly as described, which is what I wanted.
I hope Auberon might say, like, no, it's the worst. But
It was a place to lay your head, and it was, clean. So
yeah, the door didn't quite close, but and there were a lot of stairs. If I was elderly, I wouldn't have enjoyed it.
I didn't realize they could have been better at
And I feel more elderly by the day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Threeput. Wow, man, the UK contingency is in the house.
Yeah.
All right.
So it's going to come to the Marmora. How do you say it?
Marmora, I think.
Marmora?
Yeah, Marmora.
Airbnb?
To the Airbnb. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Please?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes,
Cool.
I agree. Yes, we should definitely play it.
Okay, it's going to go on a certain pile.
Strangely, we're not on AAG's press list anymore. I don't know what's up with that, AAG.
That's weird.
That is really weird. We're almost through the gift portion, the gift and purchases portion of this GenCON haul. I didn't want to call this a GenCON haul video because I thought it would be more interesting to imply that we were going to dish some dirt about the trip, and we will.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
Oh, yeah.
As thanks for chauffeuring him and Nikki down to Indianapolis. Auberon gifted us a very lovely, very welcome, very exciting copy of the Prodigals Club, which is not the expansion, but the sideways, the adjacent thing for Last Will, a game that I totally love by CGE, which is it's like Brewster's Millions, where you're trying to waste as much money as possible so you can inherit a large portion of money. I don't know what this is exactly. I don't know what the Prodigals Club is, but I just knew I loved Last Will so much that I wanted this very badly. You know what? I haven't even checked to see. Oh, it is Vlad. So it's Vlad Suchi, who is one of the two Vlads at CGE. Game designer whose stuff I really love, and he also did Underwater Cities, which we've already mentioned. And I do hope to be doing a designer spotlight on either this Vlad or Vlad. Now check this out. Vlad Chvatil.
There you go.
Yeah. So I went to the CGE booth and I'm like, how do you pronounce that dude's name? And they told me how to pronounce Suchi and Chvatil. So I feel better now, but I sound like a kind of a dork saying it. But whatever. Now I know.
No, you don't. You're good.
So I'd like to do a designer spotlight called Vladvend, where I talk about either one of these guys or the other, or both of them. But that's a lot of games. I love the stuff that he designs. And then I was so excited about that I went to the CGE booth and I bought Last Will, which is the actual Last Will Getting Sacked, which is the actual expansion. Now, unfortunately, Omelette, you're gonna have to get your banhammer ready because Auberon helped us pack our bags, and
this was in the one he didn't pack.
oh, this is the one he didn't pack somehow in package. I can't pin this on Auberon.
No, you can pin it on me.
Then I'll pin it on you.
Are we still 20 years married?
There's a corner gouge now in the box that I feel pretty bad about, to the point where I'm probably going to have to throw this copy in the garbage and buy another one.
I'll repair it.
Will you? I don't know. I felt awful. But this is the actual one. Now, what's neat about this is you play this with Last Will, and then you can play Prodigals Club on its own, and then you can somehow combine them. It's kind of like those YouTube videos where it's like, I don't know, every time Airbud scores a goal, you watch the entirety of Apocalypse Now. It's like one of those. So I think it's like you're playing Prodigals Club, and every time X happens, you play a full game of Last Will or something like that. I don't know. You can correct me in the chat. I don't know what I'm talking about. You're going to combine it into the Last Will box anyhow. Good point, Auberon, but I just feel, I don't know, I can't have that dirty, filthy hobo box in my house anymore. I have to get rid of it. There's no way I can have a gouged box in my collection. Ugh, just feel filthy looking at it. Feel awful.
It'll be fine.
No. That concludes the gifts and purchases portion of the stream. Now we're going to go on to snack time. djmachv, once again, thank you so much for joining us.
Yes.
Normally I have a graphic announcing what the snack today is, but we basically forced djmachv to go shopping for us. He's from the UK and made the trip all the way from the UK to Indianapolis to see primarily us, I think was the whole point, which is very nice. But we're like, do not show your face in the Indianapolis Convention Center unless you have a package of bourbon creams.
No, we will pay you like buckets of money if you show up with a truck full.
We need packets of bourbon creams from Tesco.
There's so many you can fit in a suitcase.
When I was on a business trip to London one year, and Cheryl came along, and we discovered that the bourbon creams from Tesco were the best bourbon creams on the planet. Good. So djmachv bought some there, but somehow they came in an Amazon box. We don't know how that happened, but somehow they ended up in an Amazon box and brought us some bourbon creams from Tesco. Very appreciated. But his opinion is not that bourbon creams are the best biscuit, as we say in the UK of all time. He quite likes the blonde biscuits, so we're going to bring those out. The bourbon creams are gone. They did not survive. Almost didn't make it the trip home. Yeah. But instead, what we got, why don't you bring the packages over? Let's see what we got here to eat.
So, here we are.
So, that's upside down. So, these are Marks and Sparks custard creams and Fox's Favorites crunch creams. The crunch creams are the round ones, and the custard creams are the rectangular ones. They're both, you notice, blonde or vanilla flavored biscuits. I won't go over the calorie count on them, but we'll do the square ones first. Now, I've had one before. I have things to say here. Cheers it. Of course he's going to freak out because we don't have tea to dip him in, I'm assuming.
We have.
Do you have water? Still too loud.
Yeah, a little bit.
So it's okay. It's almost like a shortbread.
I really like it.
They're fine. Thank you. I don't want to sound like I'm not appreciative. Thank you so much for the cookies.
They're delicious.
They're good. Okay, number two.
Even better with tea, though.
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't think water is the drink of choice for...
Except you hate tea because you're...
I do hate tea because it's
wrong and bad.
It's the worst drink on the planet, basically. Delicious hot bark water. Give me more. Anyway, to the round ones, to the crunch creams. Tap it. Goo. All right.
Yeah, I haven't tried these.
Oh, okay. These are different. djmachv says dunk them in milk like an Oreo. Are you just checking the allergy warning now?
No. I thought I smelled...
You smelled what?
I thought they smelled kind of cinnamony maybe, but no.
No, I don't think so.
Not at all. I am wrong. No, they're good.
What do you think? They're fine.
They're fine.
They're no bourbon cream.
Ryan doesn't know anything. You can bring me cookies any day long.
Dr. Threepwood, I want your opinion as well.
It's all good.
On biscuits. What I discovered in my harassment of djmachv saying you better get us Tesco bourbon creams is that Tesco does not make the best bourbon creams. The best, yes, I know, shocking. The best bourbon cream cookies now, in my opinion, in my estimation, having retried the Tesco ones, the best bourbon cream cookies are made by none other than Peak Friends here in Canada.
Oh, you still
I
think?
said it.
You still
one of the
think,
one of the
eh?
best things about bourbon creams, especially that's what attracted me to them when I was a little kid, was that they had big old crusty granular sugar on top of them, and the British ones don't put that sugar on there. So when you're a little kid, how do you know that the cookie has sugar in it? How could you possibly know unless there's like copious amounts of conspicuous sugar on that cookie? You don't know. You don't know. So that's what made the bourbon creams the best. That's what the Peak Friends ones do. Now the problem with the Peak Friends ones is they come in a large assorted bag of other garbage UK inspired cookies that nobody wants to eat. They got the ones with the jelly in the middle, and then they've got the blonde. Blah, it's all terrible. And then you got to dig down. It's like when you went in cereal boxes and you had to go find the prize, and you had to put your gross mitt in through all the cereal to pull it out, right? Mm-hmm. So that's the problem with the Peak Friends assorted bag. One magical day on vacation, and I'll never forget because it was possibly the greatest thing that ever happened to me my entire life. We went to Marmora. Or somewhere in Northern Ontario. I've never found the place since. It was like a mystical, it was like a unicorn.
It wasn't with me.
It was with you.
Was it?
It was like a unicorn occurrence. We went into this Atlantic and Pacific, this A&P parking lot. This is a grocery store chain that's since been renamed and repurchased. We go in there. I'm shopping the cookie aisle as one does. And I come upon, no pun intended, this bag of... It wasn't assorted. All it was just Peak Friends bourbon creams, solid, stacked, There was this. It was like a brick of bourbon creams in a package. And I was like, oh my God, why I didn't buy 80 of them there, I don't know.
Why you didn't, but...
It was the happiest moment of my life, and it's never happened again since.
Well, and then I did a thing for you when we were dating.
Oh, wait, Dr. Threepwood's from Maryland. What am I doing? You're not from the UK. Why did I think you're from the UK? I think I've made that mistake earlier. Keep going. What has asbestos? Oh, yes, the cookies have asbestos, he's warning. But just a smidge, so it's okay. It's under dangerous levels. Please continue.
When we were dating, I bought like 10 boxes of the assorted cookies and took out all the chocolate and put them in one box for you.
And what did you write on that box, Cheryl?
Oh, yeah. I made it really hilarious. I called them boyfriend cookies and took like stock photos of like... Just like little, just dudes.
Just dudes.
Dudes. Like,
dudes behaving and obeying.
No, just like dudes going like.
Box of boyfriend cookies.
Yep.
Just to keep me in line. And you know what? I did whatever she wanted me to that week. Okay. Let me chat with Mick this weekend. Yeah. Oh, Mick. So Omelette informs us that cookie crumbs show up very nicely on those black shirts.
Oh, yeah, they sure do. Thank you for that.
Everdell says she eats the outside ring of the jelly-filled ones. Wait, do you eat and avoid the red middle? Just throw those in the garbage along with
lava.
along with the last will getting sacked box. They all end up in the same dumpster.
Oh man.
Okay, so Auberon says try Britannia bourbon biscuits, and he would know because he's in Victoria where they have British things. You can go to a high tea in Victoria because they think they're British there. I'm not wrong. They tell me I'm not wrong. So Nikki gets them at Walmart in the Indian food section. Oh, so it must be like a holdover from occupation.
They're purple and orange. And yes, you've tried. It's a purple and orange package, and yes, you've tried it.
The cookies are purple and orange?
No, the packaging.
Oh, how?
And you've tried it, and they're okay.
Yeah, they're not.
They're not right.
They're not Peak Friends.
No.
We have burgers from, is that burgers or burgers from Baltimore? At least it's alliterative. I've got to take my child to the mall to celebrate the first day of school with mall food, as one does. Enjoy yourself. Thank you so much for lurking and for moderating and suppressing the misbehaving hordes of chatters to this point in the stream. You're gonna miss. Miss the next section, but that's okay. You can catch it on the stream, on the VOD. Here we go.
Are you ready for the next?
The whole reason that we went down there, you might know, and if you're a friend of the channel or a patron of the channel, you know this. First of all, we went down almost entirely on Patreon support. So the money that we spent on our half of the Airbnb and our half of the gas and the meals that we ate down there was almost entirely, if not entirely, covered by like 6 to 8 months of Patreon funding. So I didn't spend a lick of it, and that all went to that trip. So If you're a patron, thank you very, very much for, I know that I'm maybe not mentioning gifts that you physically handed to me, but if you're a Patreon, you supported that, and we really, really appreciate it, and we wouldn't have been able to go down without your help and support. First thing I want you to know. Second thing I want you to know is, how does Ryan eat? Because he obviously eats quite well. Well, this is how I eat. I have, since the beginning of founding this channel, I've made no secret of the fact that I want to do this as a full-time gig. I want to make board game videos and entertain you and help you enjoy your pastime better. And in return for all the effort I put into it, I want to make a living wage. I'm not there yet. I am still working on it. But this was kind of like a make or break year for us.
You're getting there.
Yeah, we're getting there. And one of the ways that I'm going to do that is, I believe I have an exemplary product, and I hope that you agree, in the how to play videos that we do. Rado has said that we do them like no other. He said that they're the best in the business. I tend to agree with him, because why would I be doing this unless I was making the best stuff I could put out? So we've got this great product, and that's what I put in this trifold to come down and, and with my suitcase full of vacuum cleaners to sell to people and really flog this. So we went down. It was a sales trip for us, and we wanted to meet publishers and tell them who we were and say that we've been around for 5 years, and that we, thanks again to your support, we have 20,000 subscribers on YouTube, which turned a couple of heads, actually, because the people, they were like, this is the problem, is I think you've got a lot of people going around GenCON, and they're like, oh, I have a blog, I've been doing a blog for 2 months, and games please, and they've got that attitude, right? So a lot of places that we rolled up to, they're like, impress me kind of thing. And it was like, oh, yes. So you say, like, I don't know, we got 20,000 subscribers. They'd be like, 20,000 subscribers. Oh my God. And they'd be, please sit down, have a bourbon cream. So they got a little bit nicer. No, they weren't, not at all. Not at all. I'm joking. But, what am I trying to say here? So that was like mission critical, was for us to go down with that trifold and to, show it to people and book some gigs. And we were successful. 3 companies booked 4 projects with us, and I would like to show you those projects so you get a sense of what's coming up on the channel very, very shortly. But I think just before we do that, I think we have a pet interlude. Yes, okay, here comes Cassie with somebody you've seen before, but we deleted the VOD because I was saying weird things that I wouldn't want to show up and haunt me in my political career later in life. So now, once again, it's Hedgerson the Hedgehog. Come on, Hedgerson, let's see. Pheanyk, says djmachv, is the name of a former biscuit-making company based in Bermondsey, London, which is now a global brand of biscuits and related confectionery. This is a lot of... You're just pasting from Wikipedia. Owned by various food businesses, owned but not marketed in the UK, Europe, and USA by, what are we saying here? Something, I just see the word Canada. Thank you for the education on Pheanyk. Meanwhile, hedgehog. Blah, 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 cookies, comma, semicolon,
but mostly
hedgehog. Hello, Hedgerson. We can't see your little face, and I'm wondering if I can pick you up and tilt you upside down. Yeah, he's not going to like it.
He doesn't like going on his back like other hedgehogs.
This is what he looks like when he's struggling for control. Hello. Yeah. Give him a little tummy rub. Give him a little... Like, this is what you get. You get tummy rubs.
Oh, he's like, no, I don't want
I don't want tummy rubs.
Please,
I don't want it.
Put me the other way.
Sonic, said someone. This is Hedgerson.
I love you.
The little button in the middle is not his navel. Just pointing that out. All right, there we go.
Yeah.
Yes. Here we want to see your sweet face, so I want to put you like this. There you are. So, yes. So, this is Hedgerson. What does Hedgerson eat, Cass?
Worms.
Worms.
And
worms?
Worms and cat food.
Ooh, and worms. Lettuce. It's kind of gross. You guys want to see Hedgerson eat a worm?
Tell us, yes or no.
Yeah, maybe we need to put that to a vote.
I think it's adorable, but...
It's adorable in its own creepy, gross way, yeah. Hedgerson, do you want to eat some worms like your disgusting self? All right. Yeah,
he's not disgusting. Yes, eat worms.
Says his wondering.
Okay.
You're going to be hard to keep on camera, though, because
Sir,
all Hedgerson wants to do is
get back on the table.
Look, man, we got to get you from your good side. Come here.
Okay.
So
are you going to give us one worm? I don't want the whole bucket of worms.
Yeah, I don't want worms all over the table.
Yeah, here.
Put it up here.
Put it over here. Like right here.
Okay. Here we go. There's a worm.
Okay.
Do we see the worm?
Find the worm.
Hey, little man. Oh, don't hiss at me. Don't hiss. I have worms for you. Oh, spiky man. Look, it's a worm.
Now you see it. No, you don't. That's how long worms last. And he's crunching and munching. I wish I could show you his cute face, but I don't want to lift him up while he's eating worms. He might eat my fingers.
There we go.
Did you like it? Did you like it? Was it good? Oh, hiss. Now he's annoyed.
He's like, I'm eating. Do you mind?
All right, relax. Don't open that bucket of worms. All right, we're gonna swaddle him up and give him back.
You gonna roll him?
Yeah, I'll just roll him into like a hedgehog burrito. He loves it. He loves it. There we go. Thank you, Cassie.
Thanks.
Aren't you glad you came? Special hedgehog sighting.
Yes, mostly nocturnal.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So he probably doesn't like the lights. He's under a heat lamp all day, so you do keep lights on them so that because he's in the basement, he doesn't get any sunlight. So you have to sort of like train him where, to get his circadian rhythms going. So you keep a light on him so he knows his day, and then you turn it off and it's party time. That's how they work.
Yeah.
Hedgehog flavored saltwater taffy. Yeah, essentially that's what it is. I've had a bite. It doesn't quite taste like that, but it's fine. All right, so we were going to talk about, we booked a couple of projects. So this is a little preview of what's coming up on the Knights Around the Table channel. And this is very exciting because I love having the relationship with Rado where, people come to him and they want to make videos and either he's too busy or the game's not his style. And he says, well, Ryan can make a video for you. And they say, yes, that's a great idea. And then they hire me to make a how to play video. And that's how that whole arrangement works. What I'm excited to say to you today is that these are the projects that are Knights Around a Table only. So they're not going to appear on Rado's channel. They're just going to be on NAaT. And I'm really excited to have a relationship like that. So we're going to start with, and I shouldn't play favorites, but we're going to start with the one that I'm probably the most excited about. When I think about games that I want to open at the Airbnb on our anniversary trip, this is foremost in my mind. Here, throw me the top box on there. Top one on the stack. Okay, cool. And I'll tell you why this is the most exciting.
Isn't it solo though?
No, I think you can go up to 2 players on this. This is, I could be wrong though. I might be completely, 2-player variants included. Oh, cool. It's really a solo game, but you can go up to 2 players. This is Paperback Adventures. So this is a game by Tim Fowers and Sky Larson. But I know Tim, I don't know Sky. So Tim and I used to chum around together at the Game Developers Conference in San Francisco, and we used to commiserate about our pains and struggles in the video game industry. And then Tim Fowers went and made quite a name for himself designing board games, and this was one of them. This one has come and gone on Kickstarter, and so he got all the support there, and he could use a how to play for the game. And what it is if you've played Slay the Spire, it's a roguelike video game where a roguelike is a game that's kind of like Mancala. No, that's an in-joke from there. So a roguelike is a game where it's based on an old game called Rogue, where basically you run a dungeon or run a series of levels until you die, and then it's like kind of like permadeath, and then you have to start over again from the beginning. And with each successive run, you see if you can get further and farther ahead. So Slay the Spire is that kind of game, and there are 3 different characters you can play. The reason I mentioned the 3 characters is because there are 3 boxes. I don't quite get what is in the core box, but there are 3 characters that you can hook into this game. One's called Plot Hook, one's called Ex Machina, and one is called Damsel. So just like Slay the Spire, you got 3 different characters you can play. And if you're noticing kind of a literary theme here, and if you notice these boxes are like books, and if you've played other Tim Fowers games, including paperback and hardback, you know that the man likes his word games, and so do I, by the way. I was making a word game video game for quite a while with my old company, Untold Entertainment. The deal is these are other characters as you play through it, and the hook with this is it's Slay the Spire, except whenever you want to put cards together to defeat a monster, the cards have letters on them, and you got to make words. So you got to make legit English words to defeat monsters. How cool is that? How cool is that? I'm very excited. I'm very excited to play, and I think of all the stuff that we're doing, this is the one that I am most hopped up on and jazzed about, and I can't wait. Cool. Thank you, Tim. And it was great to see Tim after so many years of not seeing Tim, by the way.
That's going in the Go pile.
That's going in the Go to Airbnb.
Okay.
Also very exciting, I had never played Tim's game Burgle Brothers, which is, and I love the art on this. He does such a great job with his artists evoking certain feelings on his games. So, of course, this looks like an Ocean's 11-y kind of movie poster because it's about a heist. Now, typically, I don't really go for, as you know, I don't really go for cooperative games. And this is a cooperative game where you play a team that is infiltrating a place to steal some, get the loot, get out, right? So I don't like cooperative games, but I liked him enough and I like his design sensibilities that I thought maybe this would be a riot. And I've heard many great things about this game. Tell me in chat, sound off, if you think this is good. Ekin says Burgle Brothers is so good. Ekin asks, so it's like a roguelike word game. Yes, the other one, Paperback Adventures, is a roguelike word game. How cool is that? That's very exciting. Burgle Bros is on my hit list, says djmachv. Well, get excited because we will eventually play that on a stream as well. On my bucket list, says Dr. 3Butt. I should show. Yeah, he also gave us this. You can also get a neoprene mat for Paperback Adventures, which will make more sense, I think, when we play it. But I have a feeling you're laying cards down and climbing up this mat. But I don't want to say things that I'm wrong about. So let's put this away. And when we make the video, you'll know everything there is to know about that game. Yeah. How excited is that? We talked to Amigo, and Amigo said, at first they said, we kind of do our own how plays for games, and then they say, we kind of get backed up, and really wanted to make these how plays for these games that we were doing, but we're kind of like, we're months behind schedule on it. I said, well, that's why you'd hire somebody like me, because I can actually get that out the door. And eventually the rep there is like, it's a good idea. Come on back. We'll flip you a couple copies, and please, yes, do the videos for them.
Because they're swamped.
They are swamped, and so we can help. If you're a publisher watching this, and I doubt you are, but if you are, and you're swamped, call me. I'll take care of you. We'll help you out. So the first is Saboteur, the Dark Cave. I believe this is a standalone game, but it is in the thematic universe as Saboteur. Oh, Saboteur. You're so dirty. Saboteur is a game that is a hidden role game where it's tile laying and you play a bunch of dwarves and you're laying down tiles to go into a mine, a little bit like, I would say, Clank. You know how Clank, you're going into a dungeon, you're collecting loot, and then you're coming back out, right? Mm-hmm. So with Saboteur, you're putting this mine together in order to grab gold and stuff, but one of you is secretly a jerk and is trying to make, I don't know if you can flood tunnels. I can't really remember. It's been so long since I played Saboteur, but they're trying to sabotage the entire operation and screw everybody out of gold. And so the Dark Cave is the next game in the series. What do I know about it? That's all. That's all I know. But once again, once I make the video, I'll know so much more, and so will you, because hopefully you'll watch it.
Is it coming with us?
It's definitely coming with us because we got to play it because I got to make a video. Okay. And then also from Amigo. Amigo, by the way, if you don't know Amigo, they you probably own at least one game in your collection that's by them. If you own a copy of Bonanza, that's by Amigo. And it was an interesting booth because they have games, and we'll see another company that's like this as well. They have games that straddle more, they lean more toy, and then they have games that are more like Euro strategy things. So it was a kind of an interesting duality going on in their booth. So this was definitely on the Euro strategy game nerd side of things. This is Dice Hunters of, and I want to contact them and find out if I'm saying this right. It's either Therion or Terracotta. I'm not too sure. I'm going to figure that out. But what's interesting about it is that this is a name, if you're into board and card games, that you might recognize. Richard Garfield, who did very famous game.
I forget.
Entire stores exist because of this game.
I forget.
It's a card game.
Okay.
Can you name the game in chat?
You can't put me on the spot.
I know. Cheryl freezes.
My brain shuts down completely when you put me on the spot.
Very famous card game. Entire stores exist because of it. 401 Games in Toronto. Half of the store is devoted to this game. Thank you so much, Niels de Munk.
So, someone just
Magic the Gathering. Yes, so he's the designer of Magic the Gathering, but then in the board game space, he's designed a bunch of board games. He also designed King of Tokyo. He also designed Carnival of Monsters, which we're actually bringing on our anniversary getaway, and we're playing because we have Monster Expedition, which is by a designer named Alexander Pfister, and I've been collecting Alexander Pfister games. Various publishers have been sending me copies of Alexander Pfister games, like the Infinity Gauntlet Stones, and I'm almost complete on my collection of Pfister games because I want to do an event called Pfister Fest. It was supposed to be last February, but then I got really busy and didn't have enough games. Now I've got plenty of Pfister games.
Yes.
And hopefully it might be a this coming February thing by the time I'm ready to do Fisterfest. Anyway, this is not about Fisterfest. I mentioned this because Richard Garfield designed Carnival of Monsters, and Pfister designed Monster Expedition, which is the spiritual successor to Carnival of Monsters. He also designed... Now, Richard Garfield's stuff is a bit hit or miss for me. Obviously, Magic the Gathering was a massive hit and one of the biggest games ever made.
And clearly
right?
I've never played it.
Massive. No, I haven't played it either. I get the idea. But certain things, I don't know if you're like me, but certain games where I see people, like Widowmakers, like when I see people go and like spend their entire life savings and then sell their houses so they can get more cards, I kind of stay away from that kind of stuff. So I stayed away from Magic the Gathering. The other one was World of Warcraft. Not for me, because I just saw how much time people were sinking into it. I'm like, I'm sure. So I know about it and I know what happens in it, but I'm not going to play it. That's what Magic the Gathering is for me. Of course, I love King of Tokyo. Love it. He did one called, do you remember Greedy Greedy Goblins?
Yes.
That one wasn't that hot. That one was... I think the idea with Greedy Greedy Goblins is it was like Hungry Hungry Hippos in reverse. I think that was the whole concept. You know, Hungry Hungry Hippos, you're making your hippo mouth grab marbles and you're trying to get as many marbles as you can. Greedy Greedy Goblins, you're trying to push stuff into the middle of the table underneath everybody's cave card, and you're trying to bury things in each other's caves as fast as possible. And some of those things are dynamite and some of those things are... You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. That one,
that a long time ago.
that one didn't stay in our collection.
No.
Forever, I'll just say. So I don't find he's super consistent with his game designs, but he's always doing something interesting with them. So I'm excited to try this one out because it's fantasy themed and it's animals wearing clothing. What's not to like? There's dice rolling, there are coins. What else can I tell you about it? That's almost all. 8 plus 2 to 4 players in 30 minutes. That's it. That's all I know. But we'll make a video.
Yeah.
And then hopefully that will twig your interest in Dice Hunters of Therion.
Someone said how to say it. And I
Okay, cool.
It might be too far up now.
The Rion. Is it the Rion? No. The Rion? Dice Hunters of the Rion? No, that can't be it. That's nonsense. That's crazy talk. I wiped my mouth, and I think I have hedgehog effluvium on my hands.
Oh, don't do that.
No, not a good plan. The Hunger. Yes, Richard Garfield designed The Hunger as well, which I really want to try, which is isn't it a cooperative vampire game? I think very distinctive character design on the cover of that one. Bortina's here. We mentioned you earlier, Bortina. Welcome. Or your alter ego, Beard Tina. Who else is here? Did Julia join us?
Yes.
Oh, hello, Julia. I didn't see you go, but if you're here, you're here. Welcome. Yeah. Hello. Good to see you. We were just going over 4 games that publishers have asked us to make videos for, which I'm very excited about. Now, this one's weird. If you were a child of the 80s, of course you remember Bigfoot. And I'm not talking about Sasquatch. I'm talking about Bigfoot, the monster truck. Apparently the story is a farmer named Bob had a pickup truck and he decided to put tractor tires on it. And lo, a weird form of Hoboken entertainment was born. Rural entertainment, I might call it. Rural. It was sort of like parallel with, I would say, like tractor pulls, stock car races, and pro wrestling. That's kind of the crowd who's into monster truck stuff, and then kind of like went away. I'm sure monster trucks aficionados are like, it never went away, man. Monster trucks were always popular. For me, it went away. I stopped seeing the commercials on TV advertising that on Sunday it was going to happen. But apparently the rights holders for Bigfoot went around and started licensing it all over the place, because I went into a Walmart the other day and I noticed they had Bigfoot trucks that you could buy, branded Bigfoot trucks. Oh. I was like, oh, so there's been obviously a big IP, sales push. And so one company, the creators of Arch Ravels, the knitting game, XYZ Game Labs, looks like they licensed Bigfoot, and they are coming out with, it's big and it's heavy and it's a very 80s, as it should be. It's a very 80s style box. I don't know if this is definitely a prototype, so I don't know if this is what they're going for with the retail version, but it's this big, matte printed corrugated cardboard box that really reminds me of like this is the kind of thing Castle Grayskull came in.
Yeah, totally.
1983,
hell yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, Bigfoot roll and smash, and you think, well, that sounds like a roll and write kind of thing. It's not. I think it's much more adjacent to things like Robo Rally. It's a programmatic movement game, and I'll show you some of the components in a second because this one was already open when they handed it to us. And I should tell that story too.
Oh, yeah. That was hilarious.
When I tell you, friends, when I tell you that this game contains the greatest game component ever made, you're not going to believe me. And then I'm going to show it to you, and you're going to be like, yeah, he's right.
Yeah.
Here we go. Are you ready to see the best game component on the face of the planet Earth in any board game? And you wouldn't have expected it, but here it comes. I'm going to open this puppy up.
It's a bit of a mess in there right now, I think.
It is. We haven't organized or anything. The dice that you roll in Bigfoot Roll and Smash are 4 gigantic rubber truck tires. Look at that. I got the 4th one. So this is how you roll your symbols and your numbers and stuff in this game. How cool is that? Oh my God. Like, that's the coolest. That's the coolest in the world. We should show some of those. Since this one's open, we should show some of the other things in here.
They're so cool, though. That's so cool.
Yeah,
come on.
You don't get better than that.
That's amazing.
So all of the pieces are in. It's kind of a hard. Whoa, no! There goes the camera. Oh my gosh! Sorry about that.
They're gonna get vertigo.
So everyone's gonna get motion sick. Oh, steady, girl, steady. All right, so all the components, by the way, made by Game Trays, are in this sort of stadium seating kind of thing, right? And you lift it up, and again, like, it's disorganized and things fell out. But these are some of the like programmatic pieces. And then, Cheryl, if you could give me some of the other like vacuum formed bits, and I'll show you what the actual game board looks like.
Oh, this?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I gotta put this
it's
back.
a little bit sloppy, but
okay.
These are vacuum formed pieces that. Thank you so much, Yaka. One AKA. I don't know how to say your name, but you're on YouTube anyway, so it doesn't matter at the moment. So this is the arena that you put together, and then you have little minis that are based on different monster trucks. Of course, one of those Bigfoot, because that's what we're here for. Do you have the minis?
That's a great question.
Here they come.
Here they are.
So you got your monster trucks, and they go on here, and they're driving around, and basically you're putting on a stunt show with your monster trucks. And so through a few more tiles. I think that goes on your board, right? But there are different things, like you can drive through like wacky waving handman, and then there's like fire that you can drive your truck through. So basically you're programming your movement, left turns, right turns, forwards, blah blah blah, and I think you're rolling the dice to determine which ones you actually get to move. Look, you got like 180 turnarounds and things like that. You got 360 spin arounds, da da da. So you're trying to move your truck through the arena, going, and anytime you drive by anything of interest. And look, the XYZ Game Labs likes to throw like nerdy references into their games, so if you recognize that worm, call it out in chat. But yeah, so if you like slaloming through fire, then you make the crowd scream. And if you go through this hot bed of coals with your truck, and then of course where is it, where's the good one? Yeah, so you can of course smash rows of cars, right? You can jump over a school bus, that kind of thing. So that's what you're doing. You're putting on a stunt show, so highly thematic with your monster trucks, and it's programmatic movement. You're rolling those giant truck tire dice. What's not to like, I ask you? So cool. So yeah, very excited. We're definitely bringing this one as well, because I've been dying to try it out. So all 4 of those are coming with us to the Open Getaway. Those are so clever and thematic, aren't they? I'm a sucker for themes, so I like it when something exudes the theme it purports to espouse. Why am I using these 10-cent words? Let's get this all out of here. Get it out of here. Get it out of here. Wow, we got a big pile up. And now we move on to the third section of our GenCon. Oh, I was going to tell the story though. Like, okay, so they decided we should get Knights Around a Table to make a video for us. And we're like, yeah, cool. So they handed us a copy of Bigfoot, and we took it back to, this was on the last day, I think. They said Sunday, come and pick up a copy. So we grabbed a copy, and we went back to our Airbnb, and we were trying to show Auberon and Nikki. We were like, oh, you got to see these truck tires. These dice, they're super cool.
The coolest thing ever.
The coolest thing. We opened the box, and there's no truck tire dice in it. And we're like, oh no, like, what do we do? So we're frantically emailing the rep, and we're like, how do we get in touch with people? We don't know. Our phones only work in Canada. Anyway, we had to like drive back to the convention center, and we had to go in there when they were tearing everything down and flags are falling from the ceiling. There were
Just
giant
guys
forklifts driving
zooming around and we're like, oh, we're gonna get hit.
Spooky. It was spooky going in there. But Bigfoot, the actual original Bigfoot truck, they had driven it in to the show floor, and so we found one of the folks working for XYZ Labs just like hanging out in the Bigfoot truck bed, like eating a sandwich, and we're like, we don't have truck tires. Can we have truck tires? And she's like, oh yeah, sure, here you go. Sorry about that. I'm like, yeah, wicked. That was an adventure.
It was an adventure.
One of the more memorable moments.
Fun.
So the rest of the stuff that we're going to show you, we didn't go around saying like, I gotta block games, please. I think I asked specifically for games from 2 publishers, and they both said no. And so these are copies that publishers just said, here you go, have a copy of this, and can you do anything with it? And I said, well, we've got a live stream, so we can at least mention, if not play, like devote a whole live stream to playing your game. So here are the copies of games and toys and things that people just said, here you go. So we were talking to this one company, Foxmind Games, and their claim to fame is that they did, here, we'll save that for a second, they did the original
all right.
sort of bubble popper toys, those ones. And so they're like, the guy hands this to me and he's like, this is the most state-of-the-art bubble popper toy yet. I'm like, whatever, buddy. And so
No,
he's doing
the original.
He's doing his pitch, and he hands this to me, and while he's talking, I'm popping these bubbles, and I was like, man, this feels really good. And if you know me, you know that I kind of have the personality that bubble popping things are made for. And basically, if you don't take that away from me, I'm going to do that for hours.
Yeah.
So he's like, yeah, take that. And it's good that he said that, because I was not about to. I would have fought him for it. So that thing was cool. And then they also did this. Now, again, I'm going to say something shocking, and you're going to be like, what, Ryan? You're crazy. And I'm going to say it. This was one of the coolest things that we saw at the entire show.
Yeah.
Match Madness Duo. This is a follow-up to another game called Match Madness, and we're going to play it right now. Maybe not fully.
No, but like...
Here's how it works. So you got a stack of cards, and I'll tell you why this is the coolest thing in the world ever. Not in the world, but I was very impressed with it. So everybody gets these blocks, and you got to put them up on the end so you make sure that you've got the correct ones. So
I
you
have
gotta
my
make
correct ones.
Pips 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You got pips 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I do, yes.
So you got your pips.
Yep.
And then you've got cards, like this is a puzzle game, right? Pattern matching game. So you got cards, green, red, and blue. So
Green
easy,
is the
hard, and
easiest.
medium. Green is the easiest. So we're going to about to flip one, and then we will throw down a complete... So you've seen games like these before. So... boom, that's what we're doing. Okay. So you gotta but you're not on camera. I gotta share some space with you.
Okay.
So yeah, you've seen how games like these work. This is not a surprise at all.
I don't know. It's hard when I know that people are watching me.
Yeah, what might be a surprise is how bad Cheryl is at a game like this. So yeah, you just have to
You're the
pattern
worst.
match.
You're mean.
So, it's a race game, but I was sitting here like going bonkers on the thing, and the rep's like, these puzzles take like 5 minutes to solve. I was like, oh gosh, I'll relax then. And the other thing is that I was making them all horizontal, and I didn't know that you can like make some vertical and straddle and blah blah blah. So, and I don't know. So I took this and I brought it up to the free play area where Verrous and Sandria's 2 kids were. And I'm like, hey, give this a shot. And he played this for like the rest of the night. He couldn't put it down. It was like so good. And it's just the kind of thing you can just like, if you got a cottage, you put it out on your coffee table, and it's, it's like a peg jumper game or anything else that you have there. And it's just like, there's something so compelling about it, and I brought it home.
There is. I don't know what it is. It drives me.
I brought it home and I put it on my living room table, and my kid Izzy sat down and spent the entire day playing this game.
Oh yeah, Izzy was like at first like I really like it.
Same with Verrous' kid. Verrous and Sandria's kid are like, nah, it's not that compelling.
And then like next morning, I hear.
Yeah, just hours later, and they're still playing with it. So I found it. I was very impressed with it. I found it very compelling, and it's not like other games like this. Like I find like Rush Hour is another game in this milieu where Rush Hour, you complete the puzzle and the puzzle takes maybe a minute and a half, 2 minutes. These ones are hard, man. This is the easiest puzzle, and it's not easy. It's not
No.
easy. And there's one that Izzy was not even able to complete. Izzy was burning through all the stack of reds and then got to one, and he's like, I don't think there's a solution for this one. I'm like, I don't know. They're all computer generated. I think they are.
There is.
There is.
Anyway, this is that.
But yeah, if you want to
Very compelling.
If you want to keep a mildly autistic or ADD kid just fascinated by something for hours, drop Match Madness Duo in front of them.
Yep.
They'll have a good time.
Yep.
All right, what's next?
Okay.
I should catch up with chat. Ryan was 100% going about, like, Oliver asking for more games. I was not going about asking for more games. I asked two people for games, and they both said, forget it.
It's true. We weren't asking.
Thank you.
Everything that was given was just given.
Beard Tina will get the point if only Beard Tina was here and not working via proxy. There you go. They're conversing with themselves. I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
Vin sure like that game, says Verrous. Yes.
Yes.
I didn't see that comment right before. They definitely get the point. Again, you're talking amongst yourselves on something I've missed. Some in-joke that they won't let me in on. I don't want to play that game because I won't stop playing it.
Basically.
That's exactly it, DJ Buckfee. And you know what? I haven't checked the MSRP on it. It can't be that expensive.
No, I don't think so.
It's not a very costly game. But again, it's another interesting intersection of like toy and game, which we saw in a few places at
I feel like you could just keep it on a table at all
That's
times.
it. It's like, it used to be coffee table book, and now it's like you put that out there.
Yeah, totally.
And people go bonkers on it while
Super
you're
fun.
in the kitchen.
It's $20 in the US.
There you go, $20. That's what I expected.
That's good. That's not a bad one.
Onward to
Okay.
Keystone.
Yeah, these guys.
So Keystone Games are the creators of Parks, which was a very popular, beautifully illustrated card game that took place in the national parks in American land. And so they've got some other games. I'm not super interested in Parks, and they weren't super interested in me being interested in it because, certain publishers that got games that are just doing well. So it's like, we give Creighton a copy of Parks. Who cares? It's not like, it doesn't matter. It's already selling well. I was more interested in, where's the other one of this? It's down there.
Oh, is it?
It's green. Yeah.
It's green.
Yeah, it's over on that stack.
This. Got it.
I was much more interested in this. Campy Creatures is kind of like thematically more my style. A ghoulish game of deduction and bluffing, because I like anything that's schlock or pulp. So this is, based on schlock and pulp creatures, and it's a card game. I think it's going to be a very simple thing. It looks like Keystone tends to do very simple things, but I love the artwork in it. From what I saw, the rep said it's very me. The rep said here's an expansion for it, so I was really, really excited when she handed this to me, and I can't wait to play it. And that's all I will say about Campy Creatures.
So is that coming with us?
Have you guys played this? It is coming with us. Yes.
Okay, that's coming on.
There's too many games, but have you guys played Campy Creatures? Tell me good things, because I'm excited about it. And the other game that they have is Caper. I'm sure they have more games than this, but the other game that they flipped us was Caper, and some metal coins for Caper. How exciting is that? But it's fun that we have Caper and Burgle Brothers. So now we have two kind of capery European heist themes game.
One. I don't know why. But
there's something appealing about it for sure.
Really is. Yeah.
But again, kind of like a 60s heist game themed kind of thing, kind of like a French Connection-y kind of thing. It reminds me of. But I'm excited about that. The cool thing about meeting with Keymaster and their rep was that Keymaster, they're really pushing Parks because that's their big, their bread and butter, their big money maker. And so they had the booth bedecked in, it looked like a cabin, and they had AstroTurf instead of carpet on the floor. So by the time we got there, man, there's so much haul ass going on at that conference. We were so exhausted. But and the other thing is that when you got like a 2:00 meeting and it's like 1:45 and the meeting is over there and you can see it,
there's 33 rows.
You're just not getting there in time, right? And you just have to you had to punch so many fellow nerds. It was awful, but you just have to climb over bodies. It's like in World War Z when the zombies make that bridge of zombies and they climb up that wall. That's what it felt like.
Everybody was walking as fast as zombies.
They were, because I don't blame them. They're on vacation. But we weren't on vacation, so
you had us on a haul ass schedule.
I did, and we had to get places. Anyway, what I'm saying was, by the time we finally got to the Keymaster booth, we're just like, can we please sit down? She's like, oh, I don't have chairs. I'm like, that's fine, the floor will do. So we sat down in the AstroTurf, crisscross applesauce style, so it felt like we were at like a sleepover slumber party camp out kind of thing. So that was a really memorable moment from our GenCON trip.
It was great.
And then
so that's coming.
That's the Keystone stuff.
Yep.
This is a game called Phantom Ink. If you saw my video just before we went to GenCon, I did that video of top 10 games we were looking forward to seeing at GenCon, and I put 4,000 pairs of eyeballs on that video, and I have to think that a lot of those eyeballs were people who were going to GenCon and they wanted somebody to, curate some things for them to check out. When we got to the booth where they were shilling Phantom Ink, the game looked like it was doing very, very well, and copies were flying off and a bunch of people were buying it. And so I'd like to think that at least some of those sales, some of those 4,000 pairs of eyeballs that we put on the video were purchasing that copy. But I would like to spend as much time telling you about Phantom Ink as designer and company owner Mary Flanagan spent talking to us about what Knights Around the Table is doing. Next game is Red Cathedral. So this, if you got this, you're super jazzed about it. It's by Devere Games. And I've heard nothing but good things about Red Cathedral, and mostly because people are like, it's kind of like the Tiny Epic Games style of things, where it's like little box, low price point, low MSRP. I think in Canada this goes for $40, I'm going to guess. I don't know. You can, again, fact check me on this.
Yeah, you said that.
But when you open it, it's like this massive, sprawling Euro game that's about building the big Red Cathedral in Moscow.
It's coming, by the way.
Yeah, yes. It is definitely joining us on the trip.
Yeah.
But yeah, the boss at Devere Games took us on a little spin through it, and it was laid out there, and he had the expansion as well. No need to give us the expansion because we haven't even played the base game, so we'll get familiarized with this at the very least. But so many people have said so many great things about Red Cathedral that I'm super excited to give it a shot, and that is definitely high on my list for something I want to crack open and give a shot. Love Red Cathedral, says Omar. I need to get the expansion plate already. Yes, this has good crunch factor. I've heard crunchy Euro. Yum, yum, yum. Red Cathedral is definitely a good one. Yes, I'm glad that you're all... Were you put on a haul-ass schedule or a dumbass schedule? Well, it was a bit of column A. Cool. What else have we got? Red Cathedral is so good. I think I snagged it for $32 Canadian.
That's a great
price
for such a big game.
I bid on Red Cathedral for tonight, but Vin outbid me with Foundations of Rome. Foundations of Rome. That's another story we could tell about Arcade Wonders, but I don't want to. All right. Hey Omar, how are you? So this is a funny one. This is by the company. This is Devious Weasel Games. So if you know them for something, you know them for Cosmic Frog, which is a bizarre game set in outer space where you're a gigantic frog bouncing from planet to planet and eating meteors and planetoids or something bizarre themed game. So with the story I tell about this one is I showed up to the booth and sort of briefly, this is towards the very end of the show.
It was like the last hour of the show.
Yeah, it was the last hour of the show, and like we just rolled up. We're like, hey, we didn't have a meeting or anything. We're just like, hey, we're Knights Around the Table, and they're like, yeah, so what? And then somebody in the back like looked us up on YouTube and goes, "Boy, they got 20,000 subscribers." So the boss was like, okay, tell you what. He goes, I'll make you a deal. He goes, I'll give you a copy of my new game. I'm like, yes. And he goes, if you like play it on your channel. And I was like, okay, what's the deal exactly? Like, what's, that's how, that helps me? How? I don't know what you're getting at. So it's like, okay, here's the deal. You advertise my product. That's the deal. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. So, like, I don't know. That doesn't put it mega high on my list to give a shot to, but it will.
Typical, like, you get a copy and then you play it on the stream.
Yeah, we'll give it a whirl for sure.
It's kind of a weird way to put it.
I thought it was a funny approach. It was very nice to be able to go to some of these publishers and see, because they were so used to dealing with people going, yeah, give me games, please, and we weren't doing that, and they would say, like, okay, well, just to manage your expectations, we require this and this and that, and we would give you a review copy, and then within 2 weeks you have to have 4 pieces of media and blah 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 blah. And I'd be like, just to manage your expectation, here's our rate card, peace out kind of thing. So it was nice to be able to have that conversation with some people. But no, Mirroring of Mary King, I will definitely check it out because it looks like the boss and designer, Devious Weasel Game, has some weird design sensibilities, and I'm into weird, so I will check out anything that purports to be strange.
This will be a fun stream game for us. Right?
Is it 2-player?
It's 2-player.
There you go. Yeah. So that's the other thing is like anything 2-player we can do, but then some people were like, we got this party game. I'm like, we can't do anything with a game that plays 6 because I can't put 6 people. We were trying to frame this shot before we started the stream. It's like we can barely scrunch up together in frame with 2. This is something I'm extremely excited about, and I'm a bit of it might shock you to learn, a bit of a dork, because I confused the name of 2 companies. I confused Board and Dice with, I can't even think of the names of the companies now. Board and Dice with,
I can't remember.
Cards, boards, and Dice. Tell me in the chat what I'm thinking of. 2 different companies, and so I walked up to the other company. I'm like, do you have this loot box? And they're like, that's not even our game, dude. I'm like, no, I've been run away, crawl into an embarrassment hole. I eventually found my way to the Board and Dice booth, and indie boards and cards. That's exactly it. I confused and like.
Thank you, Board Game Brie.
That is that's an honest mistake, right? So anyway, Board and Dice are the people who make all the tea games. So they do. I think that's Teotihuacan. This is Tekhenu, which is the one I'm mega excited about. This is I don't know. Tawantsuyu is in here somewhere. Tapanusi. The ones that start with the letter T. So I was very excited. This is the dumbest purchase I made, probably. This is way worse than that Everdell promo card, because I spent $20 on this, and all I want is this. And the only thing that I don't even think it's going to radically change gameplay. I just think it's going to be like a little guidebook for how to play it differently solo. But we're going to open it right now.
Oh, you want to open it now?
Yeah, this is all the stuff that comes in it. Yeah, Tawantsuyu, Teotihuacan, Zapotec, that's the other one I was thinking of. Tekhenu, Escape Tales. I do have one Escape Tales game, and Mandala Stones. All right, here we go. You're going to make me do a fingernail? I have the thing. Oh, it's over there.
I have also fingernails.
All right. Okay. Let's see what I spent 20 good American bucks buying. It's not going to be worth it. All right. Well, okay. We got some lovely... Ooh, is it...
Manufacturing.
A little bit...
Yeah.
A little bit Chinese factory. Ooh. Tekhenu, Obelisk of the Sun. Love the game. I'm working on a how to play for it that does something interesting. And this is a lovely drawstring bag that's nicer than the one that comes in the original game. So, yes, very excited about it.
All right.
I do not own a copy of Tawantsuyu, or Tawantinsuyu, I'm pronouncing it incorrectly. These are games where I actually have to look up the pronunciation to make sure I'm saying them right. And I haven't looked up this one. Tawantinsuyu. I know there's a weird emphasis. I actually contacted, you guys might know if you follow me on TikTok, I contacted an Egyptology professor to learn how to say Tekhenu. So, I'm a nerd. So this is all you get. This is all it is. It's these extra there's already these tiles in the game. What have I done? Oh no. I don't know, but there's a little book or something too that you get.
Okay, right.
These are, I feel bad. I don't know what this is. These are something for a game that I don't own.
Yeah. Why don't we just put this away now?
Tawantsuyu fun setups. Okay, here we go. Look, it says Tekhenu on it. Ancient high. So it's just a difference in setup. I'm a sucker is essentially what the punchline to that one is. Oh well, I had to have it and now I do. So coming to eBay near you, that. But while I was at that booth, I bought this from a lady, and then I said to the lady, "Hey, is so and so around?" Because that was the contact that we had there, and she said, "Oh, I am so and so." I said, "Oh, well, that's kismet. That's very cool." And then I told so and so about the Tekhenu video that we were working on, and that we're doing something very special with it. So it's taking a little bit longer. And then she busted out this, which you definitely heard of if you were following anything that was going to show up at GenCON. So this is Terracotta Army, the new tea game from Board and Dice. So she brings this out, and they were flipping a bunch of copies of this, and she starts telling me about it. She said, "Oh, you're interested in Terracotta Army? It does this, and it does this, and it does that." And then shamelessly, I was like, "Oh, is this a review copy?" And she was like, "Yes, it is." And just handed it to me. So I felt a little a little tiny bit bad about that, but happy to come away with a copy. Now, this is another one that we're going to open, and I'll tell you why. This is a public service announcement because they've had trouble with this game. Do you know what the trouble is? Auberon knows what the trouble is. So we're going to bust it up. This is, of course, based on the archaeological discovery of a Chinese, I want to say emperor, but I'm not too sure that it was an emperor, but a Chinese king, or at least leader of some variety, and they dug up his palace and they found that he had like a bazillion statues simulating this huge army. It's this army of terracotta statues. Is an emperor. Okay. So there's this army of terracotta warriors and horses and stuff that they unearthed outside his palace, and they don't quite know why he had it commissioned and built. Possibly, and I think a pretty good explanation is maybe that they wanted it to look like a scary army from a distance, so the people think twice about attacking. I think that's pretty good. No, I need that because I'm going to dump stuff into it. But the reason why I'm opening it is because, and like I say, Auberon knows what's coming. There are some wheels and dials and things that you have to put little, nipple nubbins in, and people have been freaking out because here's the minis and the statues and pieces and things, and it smells all very plasticky, and I'm getting cancer the more I do it. Interesting though that you've got minis and you've got meeples. That's a interesting blend of things. But look, the big horses that show up unearthed underground. I think this takes us back in time to when these are actually being built, not to when they're being unearthed in present day. But cool minis, and then you got just like in Tekkenu, you got these tiny little meeples, which are adorable. And the player colors, I always like seeing pink or purple as a player color in a game. And I don't know if I would have expected that out of this game. But it was in Tekkenu as well. I think you could play purple and yellow. So, cool. But it's like, where is the thing? Where's the pin to hold the turny wheel? And I don't know if Auberon's still watching. Maybe you can walk me through it. But there's like a secret door. I think it's in this thing. Maybe it's not. It's hidden. It's hidden under something. I can hear something rattling. Oh, yeah. It's like, I can see at least one of them's under here. So do you see that? It's like, you got dumped there. There's one of them, and then there's another.
What?
I know. It's like hidden.
Why?
And this one's stuck on some glue or something. But I thought there was one more that was hidden in an even like crazier place. I might be wrong. Ooh, this one's glued to the side of this box. Oh my gosh.
Careful. Do you want me to do it?
There.
You have man hands.
I got the man hands there. Is that where it was supposed to be? I think so. Did I get that right? So people, I should follow chat. Also excited for the Tekkenu video. Oh, get excited! It's gonna be so good. Who had nipple nuggets on stream bingo? Oh my gosh! If you did not put nipple nuggets on your Nice Around the Table live stream video or bingo card, always put that on there. So I see them. No, yeah, okay. So that's it, right? So they're in.
Is there just two?
So if you get this copy, I think that's all we're looking for, right, Auberon? If you get a copy of this game, look inside this box somewhere for these things. I saw somebody else put it was underneath this or something.
Just the 2 bits. They glued them in there.
Oh, okay. They glued them into the side. So like a really weird place to put them. But I wanted to make sure I fished those out so that I can. It's a public service announcement for anybody who buys Terracotta Army. The pin is in the box. It's just like an escape room to get it out. Ta-da!
It's an extra game.
It's funny because I saw after Auberon freaked out because he couldn't find his pins and he wrote them. They're like, it's like the cheese is under the sauce. It's like it's in the box. And then like I went home and went on Facebook and people were like, oh, I lost my pin. They're like, it's in the box. So it was like a bone of contention with a lot of people, or a confusing bit. This game is called Evergreen. This game was on my top 10 games that I wanted to check out, and boy did I ever check it out. We showed up at the JW Marriott Hotel expecting to be greeted by 2 low-level peons at Horrible Guild.
We thought it was going to be like, someone from the publisher.
Sure.
Yeah.
But instead it was this guy, Hallertau, who was who's the designer of the game. Unfortunately, he was very, very sleepy and needed food badly, and the hotel kitchen wasn't open yet, but he soldiered on and he taught us how to play this game. This one's already open, and then he handed us the copy that he taught us how to play. So, like I said, and I'm happy to show you the actual thing in person, The artwork in this is gorgeous. You've
so
got
pretty.
recessed boards. It's very, very pretty. So each player gets one of these recessed boards.
I love it.
And then this is what the box looks like underneath. Here's the deck of cards that you need. It's a card drafting game. Here are all the pieces.
It's
Yeah,
so
show them some
pretty.
cards.
Like, it's just so pretty.
What do you got?
Right?
Look how
and
nice.
the
Those
little
are upside down, but
fox. Oh, right. Sorry. Yeah,
Yeah.
you guys are this way. Yeah, the little fox, and there's like little rabbits. Oh my
yeah, it's
gosh.
beautiful.
It's so pretty.
Vaguely Beatrix Potter, kind of.
Yeah.
But what I like about it, I like a lot of things about this game. Again, they're not paying us at all, but I do like a lot of things genuinely about this game. One thing I like about it is, and he sold us on this too. He mentioned it, and when we played it, I was like, heck yeah, he's right. Setup is dead easy. You take these purple cylinders, you put them on your board anywhere you see a green spot, boom, game set up. Like shuffle the deck, you're done. Like how many games can boast that? That's amazing. It's a puzzle game, I would say. Wouldn't you say it's a puzzle game? You
I don't know
can.
if I would describe it that way, but
Yeah, it's an abstract game. That I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So you plant, based on the card that you draft from the table, you plant sprouts in different biomes, and then the sprouts, when you grow them, they turn into little trees.
yeah, it gets
And I don't know if they
replaced.
can see that. Well, we're going to lay them down like that. So that's what the pieces look like on their sides. And then when you grow the little trees, they turn into big trees. And so that's what that looks like. And there are 4 rounds: spring, summer, fall,
Bushes.
winter. There are little bushes and there are little lakes. You want to get a lake? Oh, here's a lake.
yeah.
So there's this little like ridged lake piece,
Yeah.
and the sun that goes in the 4 edges of the board. So what the
that.
sun does is every season, at the end of every season, it beams. You picture parallel light beams going across. This is a guy who developed photosynthesis, by the way. In case this part is looking kind of familiar. Wait, I need those on there because I'm explaining the scoring.
Sorry.
So you got like trees sitting around. So the light beams go across the board, and you score when your trees collect light. So big trees get you 2 points, and little trees get you 1 point. But the hook is that, or the catch is that, big trees block 2 spaces. So if you had this arrangement and the light was coming from the left side of your board, this big tree casts a 2-space shadow. So neither of these 2 trees score any
pointing with your
points.
middle finger.
Oh, whoops! Neither of these 2 trees score any points because they're in the shadow of the big tree. But if the big tree was over here, little trees block 1 space. So you get a point for this one, but this one's blocked by this guy, so no points, and then you get 2 points for this one, and nothing else is blocked. So that's kind of how that goes. And so, like, it was really clever because obviously, well, that's not much of a puzzle, is it? Because the best way then, and then the sun moves every single round. It moves around the edge of the board. So the best way, of course, to arrange your trees is like this, right? Because now, no matter where the sun is, nobody's blocking anybody, right? Well, not so fast, Smarty, because they thought about that. You also get points for your biggest forest of adjacently connected trees. So if you do that, you can score points for the individual trees, but you're not going to have much of a forest. Right? But then if you play like I played last time we played, if you do like a big adjacently connected forest, you're not going to win the game because Cheryl's going to win on tree points. So I don't know. It was a smart game. It's really cool. And then the last part that I didn't explain, I was even prepared to play this on this stream, but the last person to draft a card takes the card they want. They have 2 cards to decide from, right? So let's say there's 4 players. You deal out 4 of these cards, right? Each one has a biome on it that governs like where you can do your thing. So it's 4 players, 5 cards, and then so the first 3 players are going to take 3 cards out of this pool, and then the last player is going to end up with these 2 choices. So you're going to take a card, and the card you don't choose is going to go into this commons pool, and it's going to make a certain biome more valuable because it's got extra like pips in it. And those pips will determine how many points a big tree is worth in that biome. So if this were the situation, and this is what the commons look like at the end of the game, every big tree, little trees don't count, but every big tree in the swamp is going to be worth 2 points. And of course, as you play the game, more cards might end up on that stack. So now every big tree in the swamp at the end of the game is worth 5 points, right? So it's really clever. And then there are these aridity cards. If somebody decides to kick this over to the common pool, this aridity card, what it does is it goes down and it flips the card immediately behind it. So now, instead of, you've done all this work to make your swamp really cool, but now big trees are only worth 2 points in swamps at the end of the game. I don't know. It's smart. You've got upgradable powers at the top of the board, and I think it's not a heavy Euro. It's not a heavy game at all, and you're like, I only play heavy games. Shut up, go, turn the stream off. it has a place, and I'll tell you that place. We just had some friends over yesterday, and they're not into big, scary, snarly, heavy board games. And we only had... Oh, are they on the stream here?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Isn't Wondering is one of the two, right? I always forget whose username that is. Hello. Isn't Wondering played with us, and so they're not into big, snarly, heavy, hairy games, and we didn't really have time to get into one of those with them anyway, so we're just like... I don't know, let's play this. It'll take us, what did it take us? Like half an hour, 45 minutes or something?
Yeah.
The rules were really easy to explain, super fast to set up, and we could just enjoy playing together. So I was quite impressed with Evergreen. I'm glad I put it on my list. I was happy to have been taught it by the designer himself. I think this is a really good pick for a casual game, something that you would play when you don't have the 3-4 hours to spend on something snarly, or you're playing with people who aren't into that kind of thing anyway.
We played it on the back patio the other day.
Oh, we did, yeah.
Like,
just a 2-player game. It was a great patio game.
It was perfect. Okay.
Pretty cards. Is that the board? Is that board for one player? Yeah, that whole board is just one player board. So there's no common board at all. That's why you can play it at a patio table, because nothing goes in the center where your umbrella stand is, your umbrella pole. Yes. So we talked to the rep from. Help me, I forget the North Star Games, of course.
Yes.
Talked to the rep from North Star Games, and he was interested in sending us home with a copy of Oceans. And I've never played a game like this, but this is, you might have recognized their other game, which is called, it starts with an H. Oh, I had it and I lost it. It's not Horizon, it's Habitat. Is it Habitat? Oh, you're gonna have to tell me in chat. I feel bad. Now I'm not gonna be able to point him to this live stream because I feel bad getting the name of their other game wrong.
You know what?
They'll tell us in chat.
It's almost dinner time, so we're
almost done. Yes, I'm deficient in calories. Oceans is one of these games where you don't play an individual or one creature or multiple creatures. You play like all the creatures in an entire species, and you are playing cards to adapt, like, and I guess the time frame goes over hundreds of thousands, if not millions of years, and your creatures are growing fins, and they're adapting to eating certain other creatures, and you can play cards to maladapt your opponent's creatures. I believe we were told. Evolution is the one I'm thinking of, not Habitat. Evolution. Yeah. Thank you very much. So Evolution has a big bison on the cover. Bison-y creatures. Mr. Snuffleupagus, I think, is on the cover. Yeah. So that, if you recognize that's what I'm talking about. There's some strategy to the draft too. Oh, we're back talking about Evergreen. Auberon says there's some strategy to the draft too. You want to leave biome cards that affect the zones you're primarily planting. It's tricky. It is tricky. There's thinking involved in Evergreen. I quite liked it. I'd like to play some more. Mm-hmm. Back to Oceans. So I've never played one of these games. I guess another game that I would put in sort of this genre is oh no. Loss of nouns. I need dinner for sure.
You need dinner. It's now the dinner
Again,
hour.
Chat's going to help me out, though. They're going to say the name of the game, though I think it's much more heavy than Oceans is, and it's called Dominant Species. I got it. Nice. Dominant Species is another one where you have they're land dwelling, and these are all, I think, aquatic creatures, but Dominant Species, you're evolving, and Evolution sounds like it might be that too. But yeah, It's a card play game, and I think from what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong if you've played this on chat, is there is a higher than usual level of player interaction. So I don't think this is a multiplayer solitaire game. I think this is one where you're kind of getting in each other's faces and you're playing cards that negatively affect other people's species while trying to get a leg up, as it should be, right? Because species compete.
2 to 4, so
it's 2 to 4 players. Yeah, no solo. Okay, good to know. Yep. But excited to try it out.
Yes.
Izzy has joined us on the stream briefly and wants to show off a craft project. Come on in, Izzy. What do you got?
Okay. Sanded it down.
I heard you showering because you must have been working on this for...
Absolutely.
What are you building is?
Okay.
We gotta put it down there.
You can come in closer.
It's too big. Your sword is too mighty for the... It's looking pretty good, though. Look at this. This is cool. Who's this sword for, Is?
It's for my friend Layla. Also, I just had to check.
Why are you making a sword for your friend Layla?
For her birthday. Also, because we're going to a Ren fair.
You're going to a Ren fair. Have you been to a Ren fair before?
Nope.
This will be your first time at a Renaissance fair. What a nerd. Well, that's exciting. That looks really good.
That looks really good.
Yeah, so Izzy's been using like a mouse sander to hone the edge. I said, why don't you just, carve off a bunch of material using the bandsaw? So Cheryl, this is very exciting.
This is cool. I think it worked out better sanded.
I like it better sanded. I also don't mind sanding. So.
A quick note about how our weekend went. So again, behind the scenes, we got an exciting delivery of a laser cutter, which will be featured in an upcoming episode of Bits Please. And in order to use it, it's not something you want to necessarily run indoors. So we thought, we'll run it in the garage. And oh God, we can't move in our garage. So we spent the entire day cleaning out our garage. And we were also able to open the saw that Cheryl got for Christmas last year.
Yep.
And if you think that makes me sound like a bad husband because I'm getting her fishing tackle and boats for her birthday,
fishing tackle and boats.
No. Cheryl loves woodworking, and that's been a big missing part in her arsenal. So we were able to.
I got a bandsaw.
Yeah, a bandsaw for Christmas last year.
Yes.
So we're finally able to open it.
Well, I mean, I don't really we live in Canada, right? And it's too friggin' cold in the garage to use it in December and January and February and March. And then April would have been a good time, but we had, So, it's been a long time.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll only be able to use the bandsaw and the laser cutter for a few more weeks before it gets too cold to operate them.
Yep.
Yeah, but we put up a big pile of lights now, so it's like bright as daylight inside the garage. So at least we can make use of the time when the sun goes down at 5 o'clock.
It's so good.
It is.
I bought them because the Amazon review said my wife says they're too bright, and I'm like, perfect, sold. Buy them.
Buy those lights. Verrous says, nice. I love my bandsaw so much. I can do with it with so little floor space. Yes. You could operate the bandsaw inside. We can't do the laser cutter inside.
Yeah.
Because the laser cutter...
I mean, it still makes a bit of mess, though.
DjMachv says, you're creating a biome... Oh, this is more about oceans. You're creating a biome that your predators need fish to eat, so there needs to be a balance between each player's fish. Adjacency is a big thing in oceans. So it is depends on what other people are doing, yeah? It's not... What I was trying to say is... it's not a multiplayer solitaire game. It doesn't sound like. It sounds like other players matter, which I like. I think there's too much of a trend now towards games because enough of a vocal group of nerds was loud enough saying, "I don't like games where other people are playing them." You know what I mean? I want to play a 4-player game where I'm in the corner of the room and I don't have to look at anybody. And it's like, well, okay, what are we doing here? So a lot of games have been like that, right? Multiplayer solitaire. It's okay every once in a while, but if I'm playing with people, I want a game where maybe we're getting in each other's faces a little bit in a common board, or there's stuff that's available to everybody, but you take the thing I want. That's fun to me. I like that aspect of games. I don't need to be off in my own little hovel with the door closed playing the same game with people. That's just me. I don't know. An apex predator, more about oceans, an apex predator won't survive if it can't eat any fish, for instance.
I see.
You look thrilled.
All
You're
right.
like, oh my gosh, Cheryl's exhausted.
Okay. No, I'm starting to
And
feel
this is the
a little
very-
bit like I didn't eat enough today.
This is the last thing we're going to show them, right?
Yes.
And possibly one of the highest excitement
For
items
you,
for
I
me.
think.
Yeah, not so much for you.
I think for you.
But after years of waiting, this game still hasn't come to Canada, if you can believe it. And the rep at Plan B Games was kind enough to flip us a copy. I was thrilled. It's finally Great Western Trail 2nd edition. Would you believe? You can't buy it here if you believe that. I mean, I think they had this, 2 years ago at GenCON? So again, it's another Fister game, so I desperately wanted it as part of Fisterfest, and this is the game that held Fisterfest back. I was ready to go in February, but I didn't have this, and so my guy at Asmodee is like, yeah, we'll get you a copy of it, no problem. I'm like, cool, and it just has not, because of, there's problems with shipping, industry-wide, and there were just weird issues surrounding it that meant that it was unavailable, and I believe, I might be wrong, but I think it's still unavailable in Canada. But yes, this is Great Western Trail, aka Moo Moo Choo Choo, and if you don't recognize this box, you certainly recognize the original box, which is a black and white cover with 3 of the creepiest Uncanny Valley faces you've ever seen in your life.
Worst.
Basically, they were models from Poser or something that a guy stuck a mustache on one and a white mustache on the other and a hat on the third guy and called it a cover.
I don't like walking by it.
It's very bad.
No.
But this looks a lot. So they've redone this game, and not only that, but they've committed to 3 games in a series. So this is Great Western Trail. I just found out from these guys that they're also going to send a copy of Great Western Trail Argentina, which is game number 2 in this Great Western Trail series. And game number 3, which I believe they're still working on, is Great Western Trail New Zealand, where I think the cows are replaced with sheep. So sheep. And I was skeptical about that because I'm like, how much Great Western Trail do I really need in my life? And I'm like, is Argentina like different enough from Great Western Trail? And I saw it at the show and I was like, yeah, it is different enough from Great Western Trail. And then is Great Western Trail 2nd edition different enough from Great Western Trail 1st edition to warrant getting this? For one thing, let me just show you what's going on here. This is the only thing I need to tell you. Your little cowboy meeples have little hats.
Oh, right.
Sold.
Right.
Frankly, sold. There's nothing else you need to know about this game. Ignore all this about strategy and board and whatever. You get to choose your hat. Game sold as far as I'm concerned. Yes, take my 80, 90 bucks Canadian or whatever. As far as playing this game, I think Cheryl and I found that it overstayed its welcome a little bit. It drags. It doesn't drag a little bit, but we play games very, very slowly. So when you take a game that's going to last 3 hours, it takes us 5. So it was just kind of like, oh my gosh. But we did only play it like
we
twice.
Like to snack and talk.
We do. We take our time with board
like
games.
An event.
We really do.
Yeah.
But I was really excited to get this because I already have, hopefully, as you know, a How to Play a Great Western Trail video on the channel. So I thought, oh my gosh, there's only a few pretty minor changes to 2nd edition. So I could just basically make a couple tweaks to my original script, reshoot it with this version of it, and boom, I have a whole new video on the 2nd edition. Let's go. And they're like, yes, we'll get you a copy 9 months from now. So I was thrilled to go home with this copy. I'm very, very excited that we have it finally out. So I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to be doing another video, and it will definitely show up during Fisterfest, as it's one of the in the 9 months it took me to get my hands on a copy of this. I have amassed roughly 30 Alexander Pfister games. Enough for Fisterfest for the next 10 years. I basically own or have borrowed almost every Pfister game ever made at this point, and it's almost to the point now where it's like, I've got too many Pfister games now. What have I done? I'm going to have to pick 3 of them and go with that. Yeah. Anyway, Fisterfest, look forward to that. The Simmental cows are fun. Are those the orange ones? The orange cows? Yes. There is a new thing. Oh, they're right here on the back of the box.
Orange cows.
Orange cows right here. So she did show us that there's a new thing with orange cows, which I think makes it... It's a variant. You don't have to play with the orange cows. But what do? They make it easier.
The new growing cow variant.
Oh, is it like every time you take them up to the train, they get bigger and they're worth more points if you hang on to them? Is that the idea with the orange? What did you call them? Emmental cows? No, that's cheese.
Simmental.
No, Simmental. I was like, Emmental? Sounds scrumptious. Cows are delicious. I find them quite tasty. He says, mooing like a cow. Well, we haven't interacted a whole lot with chat. Did anybody have any questions or comments about GenCON? Did you go to GenCON? Did you see us there? We were there. We were there the whole time. Yeah. It was exhausting.
Yeah, we did the GenCON Death March.
Yeah, we did it too hard. Yeah. We did GenCON too hard. Mm-hmm. And we might yet do PAX U too hard as well. I'm trying to convince Cheryl to let me do PAX U with her too hard.
You're going at the very least.
Oh, the Emmental cheese cows grow up, apparently.
Cool.
The Lord of the Rings sheep version sounds fun. Yes, the sheep are trying to find some sort of ring, take it to Mount Doom. Do you plan on going into a Gen Con type thing again, or was it too much running around? That's a great question. When we came home from that Gen Con... Now, I will say, Verrous, it's a great question. I will say that I felt guilty at the amount of time I was unable to spend with you guys because I would have liked to have just played games more. I did find, here's one thing I will say if we were to do it again. The open play area in the hotel was cacophonous and stressful. And when I went down into the Lucas Oil Stadium, so if you've never been to GenCon, listen to me. If you've never been to GenCon, and I've been, the whole stadium where they played the Super Bowl is like open, and they have tables down there, and you can play games down there. And people don't go in there, I think, because they have this huge game library that they unloaded from 2 big rigs full of games, and you can go down there and rent a copy. And I think people thought that was the whole stadium, but that's only like the back third of the floor. The rest, the 2/3, I don't know if it's open gaming, but it was like one of those spots with a bunch of tables, and like if you go down and grab a table, no one's going to get too mad, I think. And the acoustics were way better on the floor of the stadium. Believe it or not, in this massive stadium, it was just easier to hear each other across the table. But I found in the open gaming area, which was in one of the hotels, the JW Marriott, first of all, it was a 9-kilometer hike to get to that hotel. Even though it was right next to the convention center, it just took forever to get there. But I also found like when we think about the possibility of making a NAATCon conference, we're thinking about the types of places that we like to play board games. And I think hotel ballroom is pretty low on the list. So I don't know, if we were to go again, I think that we would want to spend more game playing time at the stadium, or at least in a place that had better, I don't know, this is just kind of like a less stressful environment. That's not why we didn't play more games. The whole place was very, very stressful. When we came home, we said that we would do it again immediately.
Did we?
We did. I want to remind you of that. We did. We said
revisionist history.
We said
no,
it was
I said I would. A very
valuable trip for us. And there are many relationships that we still need to forge with people that, like, this time was just a, like, who the heck are you guys? Next time we show up, they'll be like, oh, yes, Knights Around a Table, which will be, we're talking about the publishers here, which will be a better situation for us, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was a work trip for you. It wasn't a pleasure
was a work trip.
Right?
It was very much a work trip. So I think if we were to go again, we should work more pleasure into the trip. I think we all understand that business comes first, says djmachv. Aw, thank you. That's good. Plenty to do, plenty to play, says Omar. Can't wait to see it in response to PAX U. I don't know what's happening. I think Don's going to PAX U. Sorry I missed most of your streams, says Stacey Everdell. That's okay. Oh my gosh, what's happening?
Don gifted a sub.
Who'd you gift a sub to, Don? Well, that was kind of you. I got to scroll up because I'm missing Don's gifting a sub took up the entire chat, so now I gotta scroll up and see what people are saying. So, welcome, Stacey Everdell. Good to see you. You were not notified. Oh my gosh, we'll alert the authorities about that. That's not right. It felt much easier to go at whatever speed you want to compared to GenCon. PAX U, I will say that I have been to PAX conferences before. I was going to them before PAX U existed, but I went to PAX Prime and I went to PAX Dev, and I went to PAX East in Boston, and all of the PAX conferences are great. They're at a much better pace, I found, and if you're just looking for a fun conference to go to enjoy yourself, it just felt like that was more the vibe there, whereas GenCon was more like hard driving. I felt like one of the cows in Great Western Trail at GenCon. You were either there,
especially on the show floor.
On the show floor,
you're stuck in the slow moving.
And we didn't do anything cool.
Yeah.
Like we didn't see any of the shows. I was surprised. That was the other thing compared to PAX conferences. I was surprised to see that every bloody event was separately ticketed, and that was sort of like a bum out because PAX U, I could be wrong, but PAX, you just go, and if there's something to see or do, you just show up, and like that felt way better. Like it felt really. I think from a consumer perspective, I think GenCon feels a lot more nickel and dimey, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like it's like we appreciated it. We were given press passes, so we didn't have to pay for press passes, and we were given access to a press room where we got to eat lunch away from the masses and sit down and unwind. And we really appreciated being guests of the conference and being able to produce content about the conference. So I don't want to sound ungrateful at all, but to compare the two conferences, I would say the PAX has a better vibe, and we talked to a bunch of exhibitors too, and the exhibitors said that one exhibitor told us that what they love about PAX is when they do the line, which is where all of the, I was about to say volunteers, but this is a key difference, is the people bouncing you out of rooms and telling you where to go and blah, blah, blah. Those people are all paid people, and that makes a massive difference in a conference. I found like it was weird. We'd show up with the press passes that weren't separately marked like the exhibitor passes, where we just looked like we looked like the riffraff. It was positively embarrassing. So we'd show up to the show floor 10 minutes before it opened, because we had a meeting at 9:00 at like the back of this massive show floor. So we show up and say, hey, can you let us in? They're like, well, no, you gotta wait with everybody. And we're like, but we're press, and we booked meetings with exhibitors, and they were like, and they didn't know what to do. So it seemed like a lot of the volunteers were not
hey, how do you get to here? I don't know.
Yeah, they couldn't direct us places. because the place was so massive and everything.
You have a shirt.
So in contrast, PAX, they pay all their people. At the end of every night, we found the security was really lax too.
Very much. We should not have been able to walk into that hall when they were tearing down.
No. We shouldn't have been able to like dodge pitchforks and stuff.
So wrong.
Yeah, it was really strange. Yeah. So it felt like you could like hide under tables very easily.
Oh yeah, totally.
Wait till all the lights were off, grab a big armful of games and run away. And that's how we ended up with all of this stuff that we have under the table. No. But at PAX, what I'm trying to get to is that their paid people all join hands at the end of the night, and they start at one end of the convention floor, and it's called the line, and they all walk slowly, and they're basically scooping anybody up. And if you don't have an exhibitor pass, you have to follow the line and get bounced out of doors as they go. And so all the exhibitors know that as soon as the line passes your booth, it's like, oh, thank God, you can take your pants off, or, you know what I mean, you can relax because you're not going to have to field queries from any, you know.
Or worry about your stuff getting...
Yeah, worried about your stuff getting stolen or whatever. You can just you can let all the air out. So...
Interesting,
Yeah, the exhibitors we talked to said that they appreciated the administration of a PAX show more than... what GenCON was doing. Interesting perspective. That's not my perspective. I'm just sharing it with you.
I mean, I feel like they both serve different purposes.
Definitely.
Probably.
Definitely. Yeah, PAX is more like a pleasure cruise, I believe. Nikki and I said we would 100% do it again, but do it smarter. Yes, and you mentioned that to me, Auberon. And you said, I think, that you would spend less time on the show floor, right? Because that was the exhausting part.
Just break it up. The show floor is so big.
Board Game Brie will also be at PAX U. That's exciting.
Okay.
We'll meet you there, Board Game Brie, if we end up showing up. Stacey.
At the very least, Ryan will, because I don't know if I have vacation days for it.
At the very least, I think I will show up.
Yeah.
Sounds exactly like PAX U. Loved PAX U last year, says Stacey Everdell. My first, my only, my best, very manageable. Yeah, I like it. It's a good vibe there. GenCON has too much. It's insane, love it, but it's a lot. It felt like a lot. Yeah, I think...
I'd almost want to go, earlier and then, meet up with everybody and game with them a full day ahead of time, you know?
And we met... who did we meet who was going to show us around? Sarah Tippy, supporter of the channel. And I was kind of down on Indianapolis after the show. I feel bad for it now, but I wasn't impressed. City-wise, I was not impressed with Indianapolis. Went to PAX East in Boston. Boston's great. Went to PAX Prime in Seattle. Seattle's a great, it's an okay town to visit. It's not terrible. It's not the best, but it's not terrible. Indianapolis lent more to the terrible side, and Sarah Tippy said, come a day early next year and we'll show you around. We'll do cool stuff in Indianapolis because it's not as bad as the impression you got just from the downtown core. Here's the difference between American and Canadian cities. American cities, and I've been to a bunch of them, they don't have what Canadian cities have, which is what I call street culture. Like in Canadian cities, you'll be walking down the street and there are shops that you can visit and go into, and they're open and there's people there selling clothes or food.
11 at night.
Yeah, 11 at night you can go in, depending on the town, right?
Yeah,
there are restaurants that are open that you can go into, and the restaurants aren't all the same restaurant. Like I found in Indianapolis, there are about 17 restaurants in the downtown core, and they're all steakhouses. You know what I mean? And it was really weird. Like the mall, we couldn't figure out where the front doors were, so we couldn't even figure out how to get into the mall. And when we did, the food court closed by 4 p.m.
No,
which
it was 6.
It was 6, which is weird because it was attached to a movie
maybe?
theater. And I'm like, how late do your movies go?
Yeah,
what do people do
weird.
when they watch a 7 o'clock movie? They get out at 9, they can't get a slice of pizza or something. It was just it was weird. Meanwhile,
or get your quick dinner before you head into the movie.
Yeah,
I don't know, it was weird.
Meanwhile, you go to a place like Toronto or Montreal or Victoria or Vancouver.
There's always something open.
Yeah, there's always something open. There's people on the sidewalk doing things. There's hustle. There's bustle. There's activity. There's life. And I find a lot of American cities feel lifeless. Like there's nobody there doing stuff. And anybody who is lingering around doing stuff, you're not a fan of the things that they're doing, and you want to get out of there because it's pretty dicey.
Maybe.
So yeah, I don't know. It depends on the city, says Stacey Everdell. Also, since the pandemic, things are very different. Oh,
I can
that's
appreciate
fair.
that.
Okay.
Yes,
we have a very decreased workforce for retail and restaurants.
I mean, the same thing is happening here.
It is, but I couldn't help but think, and I've said this before, and I'm probably tiring out the people who have already heard me say this, but I couldn't help but think that if I ran, for example, a pizza joint in Indianapolis, and I knew that 50,000 people were attending this conference that week, and normally my close time is 9 p.m., I might consider paying a couple of extra bucks to bump that up to midnight and, you know, maybe even litter the sidewalk with a few flyers saying like, hey, Papa's Pizza, we're open, you know, kind of thing. I'm surprised that nobody did that, you know. So the one pizza joint that we did call after that massive, if you saw my video, we were in like this crazy, enormously huge line to get our vaccine. Oh, that was something I did appreciate, by the way, though, of GenCON, that they required vaccine passports. I love that. I love that they required masks the entire time. Our whole party of 4 came back to Canada completely COVID free, so very much appreciated there. I hope PAX U is doing the same thing. At least masks, if not the vaccine thing. But that was great. And a bunch of people complained about that. And forget those people. It was awesome. We couldn't find any restaurant to deliver to the JW Marriott on Saturday. It was a mess. Yes, exactly. And I was in that mess with you. So this pizza thing, we did the line first, and we thought, we'll just get pizza or dinner later or whatever. So it was 11 o'clock by the time we got our passes.
Pizza joints are always open.
Pizza joints are always open. Past 11, no problem. We couldn't find anything. We eventually found one place. Their phones were ringing off the hook. Like, we called, and they had 4 other phones, and they were just like, so-and-so pizza. Oh, my God. You know, the whole time. And it took an hour to get a pizza out of them, and the pizza was massively expensive, and I don't know, didn't warrant it. It was wild. Any other place though, man, it's impossible to generalize about all American cities. Board Game Brie, I don't know how many have you been to? Maybe you've been to more than me, but like, and I'm a tourist in everyone I go to, but I've been to Seattle, I've been to Los Angeles, I've been to Tampa, I've been to San Francisco, I've been to New York, I've been to Buffalo, I've been to
LA.
I mentioned LA, I've been to Indianapolis, I've been to Boston, I've been to like many, San Diego, been to many major American cities, and it honestly is something I can generally say about most of the American cities I've been to, is that they're like that. Like, I was shocked by downtown Los Angeles. I said to somebody, I was at E3 that one year, and just like, what's up with the downtown core? Like, there's nothing happening at street level. There's no people. It's like a ghost town. And the guy says, like, yeah, every day, 6 million or 9 million, some absurd number, 900,000, I don't know, but maybe 50,000. Huge pile of people drive into the downtown core. They go into the parking garages, get out of their cars, up the elevators, into the buildings, work their jobs, down the elevators, into the cars, back out onto the freeways. And, you know, nobody comes out of the buildings. And that's the whole city. I'm like, really? Because that happens in Toronto too, but you get lunch at street level. Like, I don't understand where all the stuff was. Weird. It's just weird. Austin, I've never been to.
And Portland
I didn't go to.
I would love to go.
Yeah, I would like to check out Portland.
Yeah,
Portland seems like our speed. Austin too. Austin is like the southeast Portland of Portland.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Austin's a cool town. Love New York City. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to beat New York City. Though, we did make that mistake on our 10th wedding anniversary. It's 10th, we got to do something big. So we bought cheap tickets out of the Island Airport in Toronto. And like, we're going to New York City. And we had lived in Toronto then for like 7 or 10 years or something like that.
Yeah,
and so it was like out of the frying pan into the fire. We went from super metropolitan Toronto into even more mega metropolitan New York. And we're like, why are we vacationing in another city? This is stressful.
Yeah. It was.
Yeah, so now for the 20th anniversary, we're going to somewhere else.
Yeah, well, we're gonna canoe. We're gonna canoe down a river, and we're gonna watch the stars, and we're gonna have a campfire, and we're gonna play a crap ton of board games.
So many board games.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you so much, and we'll see you again, hopefully more regularly. Bye, guys.
Okay.
Did you just watch that whole thing? Oh, hey, to 100% this video, click the badge to subscribe, and then click the bell to get notifications when I've got new stuff.